Hell yeah. Great job, man.
Now we got a crash. Cars spinning left and right.
Buddy, let her rip. Rain like hell, baby. Come on. Oh my God, guys. Yes. Yes. Unbelievable. You guys are the best. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, what a year.
Yeah, you probably just heard Jarrett saying right now because we are live right now. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to NWP on DannyBTalks tonight. I'm your host, Danny B. Thanks so much for joining us. We have got a crazy packed episode this week. We have lots and lots of things to talk about. So let's go ahead and get straight on into it. It's just us, your usual panel. Let's get straight into the Cup race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Christopher Bell gets his second career win, and another Gibbs driver is seemingly afraid of the lobster that they give you. Like, you going into this, you could win a lobster. Just it's got his claws literally typed up. So yeah. I don't know. Thought that was funny.
Yeah,
Christopher Bell's got to get used to it. He's already won 3 Xfinity races. He's won a Cup race here in like his third start. You better get used to the lobsters.
I thought he was used to it by now, but what we're not used to is some former crew members actually doing their job and not costing a driver a race or whatever. So that was fun.
It's seemingly very controversial now, and no one's really talked about this, the fact that they didn't get penalized for what happened the week before now, and then they stuck around and they got the job done with Christopher Bell. So let's get some thoughts on this. Eric, what do you think about this weekend? Because you picked Christopher Bell to win, and you got a weekend sweep.
He swept the weekend.
I had a hell of a weekend. All right, yeah, Jared got Christopher Bell right, but now I got the Xfinity race with Allgaier, I got the SRX race, the Stewart, and the Cup race with my boy Christopher Bell.
I got the SRX race too.
Yeah.
Well done. All right, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the end of the show when we get to pick points. Chat, you guys are in a world of hurt right now. But Christopher Bell, now he didn't dominate this race, but you knew he would be there at the end because of how good he's been here historically. The race was dominated, at least the first 70%, by his teammate Martin Truex Busch, like in the Interstate Batteries car. What was going on there? I couldn't tell who it was half the time. But Martin Truex,
I thought Kyle Busch won the pole at first, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was Truex's first pole since joining JGR. I did not realize that was that was true until someone mentioned either on the broadcast or on Twitter, I forget. But Truex ran probably his best race of the year and still didn't have enough to win the race. He got a solid top 5, but faded once he got back in dirty air on 2 tires late in the race. So Christopher Bell was there to pick up the scraps Truex left behind, gets his first win, and blows up the playoff grid. He came in 16th. He's now effectively 14th if you're going by who's like how safe they are. But I think once you factor in where he's at in the regular season standings, he'll actually be like the 11th or 12th seed
I believe
again today. So
I believe Chase Briscoe's now 14th in the playoff.
I think when it comes to like who's safest, Bell doesn't have any other playoff points besides this win. He doesn't have any stage wins. So I'm not sure exactly how that. I think it's like the lowest guy in points with a win. Yes. So it probably goes to Briscoe or Cindric there, or maybe Hamlin. I don't know. Hamlin's got 2 wins, so never mind. It would be him. Sorry.
He's safe with 2. I have the points up right here. Briscoe's the lowest, then Tyler Reddick, Suarez, Kurt Busch, and then Cindric now in 13th.
Cindric. Oh, Cindric's been on a hot streak lately. I forgot. I got to give him some respect. He's been hot lately. Top 10 and left and right. So it was a good race. I was happy to see Christopher Bell win. I thought it was very competitive throughout. I thought it was. I know a couple of you guys have been kind of high on New Hampshire the last couple of years, and last year's race was good despite the frustrating weather situation and bad calls by NASCAR. It was still a really exciting race. This year's race was exciting without all the dramatic, controversial calls. So I think New Hampshire's, between the Gen 6 and now the next gen, it's had a couple really good races in a row. So I hope that leads to bigger and better things for this track.
See, I'm in the minority with this. I would love to see New Hampshire have 2 races again, but then that's not a very popular opinion though. So I totally get why that's never going to happen, I don't think. But I don't know, just for the one race and stuff, like the past few years, I always go into the race with not the highest of expectations. And then all of a sudden, boom, the race just exceeds them, just blows them out the water. So that was just another weekend, last weekend for the Cup Series at New Hampshire. It was a great race. Some surprise runs too, including Bubba Wallace, who was inside the top 10 for pretty much most of the race. And then he was consistently in the top 5 for some parts of it as well. He gets P3. Danny, you almost won some money. You know, you were close. You were this close to winning some cash, but yeah, hopefully he can come through next time. But it's something about that DraftKings scheme. Every time he runs that scheme, he seems to I don't know, just he runs in the top 5 all of a sudden. It's weird.
And didn't he run it at Pocono last year?
He did.
If he runs it at Pocono this year, I'm going to place a bet on him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty good at it. I will say, like, I've been pleasantly surprised with the sort of like renaissance of New Hampshire racing. I personally thought that one was about as good as last year's. Last year's is really fun. No tinted windows this time.
No bad calls neither.
I wouldn't go as far as you though. I wouldn't go as far as you though, Darian. I don't think it should have 2 dates. You should be able to get 40,000 seats filled up in one race if you want 2 dates.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Like the attendance just for the one date though, I was like, yeah, that's not good. Not good at all.
Overall, I was pleasantly surprised with how well Bell made it up through there. I was surprised with how much easier it was to pass than in previous years, even with the lack of PJ1. Yeah. Like I was surprised in all ways. This race going into the weekend, I noticed like most people, and I noticed when I tweeted how much better New Hampshire was at the Xfinity race, I got so many people being like, wait till the Cup race, it's going to suck with this car. And then it's like, it's the best race of the weekend, bar none. I don't care. I think it was better than the modified race personally.
They wrecked at the finish of the modified race. That's what gets every red-blooded American out of their seats, right?
That's what.
I'm not just any old American.
Hey, to quote the great director of Talladega Superspeedway, that's how every race should end. Right there.
Every race should end.
I was there for that. That was so cringe. Then I have all these people.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I also want to give a shout out to Chase Elliott. I don't want to I'm sorry if you were going to do this, Danny, but first, second, his last 4 races. You know, I know he got into some guys at the end there racing like Logano and Kurt Busch. He was driving in a little over his head for a few laps there, maybe made some enemies, but he has emerged as, to me, the clear championship front runner. Like if I'm picking championship 4 slots right now, he probably gets my first pick. Like he feels like the one I'm most confident in, considering he's been to the championship 4 the last 2 years, and right now seems to be as fast as he's ever been.
All of these tracks coming up have been or could be great tracks for Chase Elliott, because we've got 2 more road courses coming up, especially Watkins Glen. He has an average finish of 1.5 coming up there, so I definitely can see 4 more wins for him at the end of this regular season.
Now, before we talk about some winners, we can also let's get into some controversy that happened too during the race too, between some 2 mid-pack drivers. Now, you know, you had Keselowski and Dillon. Just out of nowhere, like Eric, you start us off here. What happened, man? Like, what was going on with that?
It feels so weird to hear Brad Keselowski called a mid-pack driver.
He's starting his own. He's helping it. He's trying to do his own thing as an owner, and it's not working.
Talk about some growing pains. Yeah, nobody knows what happened there. I even listened to the clip on Door Bumper Clear because TJ Majors, I believe, is Keselowski's spotter, and he didn't even know what the hell was going on. So nobody knows what was happening. Austin Dillon claimed that he's had some long history with Keselowski.
Remember Michigan of last year. Remember that.
I don't know what the hell happened there. I don't watch 17th place.
Flipped. Austin Dillon did because it was in the top 5.
He was just racing.
It was after a stage, by the way.
They were just racing hard, and then Brad just spun him out.
Yeah, that was where Brad was down the apron, right, and kind of came back up off the apron. I do remember that.
I remember I was filming them coming to the line, and I put my phone down. I'm like, oh, it's the end of the stage. Also, what the hell?
I don't remember that incident explicitly, though. I don't remember thinking Brad was clearly in the wrong. Maybe he was. People who watched it more recently can say, oh, no, he clearly just messed up. But I don't remember it being obvious that Keselowski was at fault. Either way, I don't know what happened in this race, because there's no way he was sitting here like a year later thinking, oh, man, remember Michigan? Screw this guy.
Maybe over time, a few things have built up that weren't necessarily caught on camera, or maybe it's like, these little itty bitty racing moves that maybe annoyed the hell out of Austin Dillon.
I'll say this: Keselowski, after the bumping under caution, which I think under caution,
that's dumb. Yeah.
Not cool to do that under caution. No, the broadcast did bring up it's similar to a little similar to a Robbie Gordon, Michael Waltrip situation at the same track, but the post-race interviews to me kind of it made Austin Dillon not look good, because Austin Dillon was basically taking little pot shots at Keselowski, whereas Keselowski said one thing at the start and then tried to keep it civil for the most part. So I have to say that I'm definitely leaning towards Keselowski if I have to take how they acted after the race. But I don't know. I don't know, man.
Here's the thing.
There's no replay of what happened. Maybe nothing happened.
There's no replay and stuff, but yeah, to your point though, Jared, the last point about, the way Austin Dillon looked, I was just thinking about this too before the show started. I'm like, the past couple of weeks haven't been the best for Austin Dillon PR wise, because number one, Tyler Reddick leaving, that was a huge deal. And then you had a bunch of fans coming out the woodworks just once again saying that, oh, he's not prioritized because Austin Dillon, granddaddy's money, that sort of thing. I thought those arguments had died down for a while, but I guess Tyler Reddick leaving and announcing he's leaving RCR, that just restoked the fires of those arguments again. But then also too, like after like this whole incident with Keselowski and watching his like little post-race interview, then I log on Twitter and see like some of these memes, because he has his own reality show that
the ratings up, man.
Yeah, not very many people watch, by the way, but yeah. So anyway, so like I saw this meme and it said life in the slow lane with Austin Dillon. So I'm like, dang, just Austin Dillon can't catch a break, man, just like the past couple of weeks.
Likewise, all the stuff that's happened with Austin Dillon, I noticed it a lot in my comment section. It's also bringing his brother Ty in with it, because he just got released from the 42, and people are essentially saying the exact same thing to him, saying, "Oh, he's just grandpa's spoon-fed utter grandson," and it's like, dude, this guy doesn't even work for RCR. You don't have to lump him into all this.
Yeah, don't know what to make of it. Clearly the teams don't know what happened. I guess only Austin Dillon knows what really set him off. I just thought it was shocking to see shades of 2014 Brad Keselowski. Like, yeah, Dillon, hit him under yellow a little bit there, but Brad,
you hit me under yellow.
I can't believe he still dragged that car to a top 10 finish. I thought he broke something for sure.
Well, that shows how durable the next gen cars are too, which is awesome. Yeah, sometimes. But I mean, Keselowski, he's just frustrated this year, man. I mean, like, he was expected to point his way into the playoffs by a lot of this panel too, and a lot of fans earlier in the year. I mean, I guess like what happened was fans had saw Tony Stewart make the transition from just a race car driver to a race car driver / race car owner too. So they thought, oh, okay, so Keselowski will find some similar success, and he had an amazing start. The team did with the Daytona duels, sweeping them, but then ever since it just hasn't gone right for them too. I mean, it's gone right for Chris Buescher at times though. I mean, you could even make the case that when we head over to Watkins Glen, maybe Chris Buescher could get a Cup Series win, his second career win actually.
I'd have him as a dark horse.
Yeah, he's a potential dark horse, but I mean, Keselowski, it's just, I mean, what is this? His like second, third top 10 of the season, something like that.
It can't be more than that.
Third top 10.
Yeah,
which even without the 100-point penalty he had at the beginning of the year, I don't think Keselowski was going to be close to a playoff contender or anything right now.
Yeah, either way, he wasn't going to become close. But I mean, I guess it just boils down to he's just frustrated this year. So then I guess a guy who he's ran into before, Austin Dillon, hits him under caution. I guess he wanted to
hit him under yellow.
You hit him under yellow.
Yeah, you got to pronounce it yellow.
You hit me under yellow.
Right. So he wanted to hit him under yellow.
Not under caution, not under yellow, under yellow.
Yellow.
But speaking of memorable things that were said, Jeff Burton had an interesting take on Ross Chastain.
There we go again. Oh, dude,
you were heated about this, Jarrett. Jarrett was heated. I saw on Twitter about this.
It was more it's like the contact was not that big of a deal. Like it wasn't, and I brought up Elliott not to like dog on Elliott. I think that people misinterpreted what I said about that. I thought what Elliott did was fine each way. I think he got tight with the whole Logano incident. He was just being aggressive going for the win. But Jeff Burton isn't going to call, and I get, yes, Ross Chastain has a history. But Jeff Burton literally only calls out Ross Chastain and then becomes like a freaking milquetoast fence sitter on every other incident. And my point is that Chastain, in my opinion, didn't do anything wrong. He did the same thing William Byron did earlier in the race, and Jeff Burton went off on a freaking tangent about Chastain for a lap and a half on how, well, because he races like that, people are going to treat him well. And it's like everyone's been doing that all day. Like it's not something new.
Well, I want to jump in here because I think Burton sounded a little defensive, like he was trying to defend his previous takes on Ross Chastain for past incidents. And I can understand why, because think about what Justin Marks said originally about Ross Chastain at Gateway. He did nothing wrong. Guys just don't like him that he's now running fast. Guys in the top 5 hate him just because he's there. Like, that was the way he was talking at first. And I think some fans believe the same thing. They think that guys like Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Kyle, but whoever aren't Ross Chastain fans just because he's winning. And I think what Jeff Burton's trying to drill home is that no, these drivers retaliate, say bad things about him because of how he actually races, not because he's fast, but because of how he runs into people, how he's over aggressive. So I'm with you in that moment. We saw Chase Elliott, like I said earlier, and like you just said, Chase Elliott drove into guys a couple times as well late in that race. It's not like Chastain was the only guy at New Hampshire, but it was it was in the middle of the race, racing for like 7th place. And it was kind of like, why'd you drive in that hard? You typically saw guys pick either the 3rd or the 1st lane. He drove in like the 2nd and washed up into the guy. So it was kind of an odd move and a weird timing to do it. So I understood Burton criticizing him and calling it out at that moment. But the reason I think he sounded so strong and so defensive on it is because he does see that pushback from Justin Marks a few weeks ago and sometimes some fans. I think that's where the pushbacks come. But I'm with you. It was maybe a little strong. I thought it was 100% accurate, but I'm with you. He's not going to single out many other drivers the same way. He did, kind of criticize Chase Elliott lightly when Elliott ran to Logano. I think he said something like, Elliott's not making any friends up here. So he wasn't completely biased, but you're right. It felt odd that he went on for about a lap on Ross Chastain.
It was just this yeah, and it's not been the first time either. Like,
he's done this in every single race this season.
It was just funny to me because you hear like Dale Jr. be like, that's what you gotta do to get past people, and Bird's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, although everyone can be guilty of being a little biased every now and again. It seems like did he ever do anything to Harrison? Like, where's this bias come from with Jeff Burton towards Ross Chastain?
Well, Harrison isn't on screen much, so
yeah.
Like, there's like.
Not
there's
yet,
no disrespect to Harrison, but like the dude has 1 top 10 on the year, and it was at Atlanta. It was 10th. So
and that was this month, by the way.
I wonder if it's Jeff Burton trying to maintain his reputation as the clean racer, the mayor. Everyone likes him. Everyone looks up to him.
Ask Jeff Gordon in 2010 about that.
Just that one time. Right?
Burton maintains that was an accident, I believe. I don't know if he maintains that. He said at the time.
I think he said it was an accident.
But he said the sun was in his eyes or something, didn't he? I don't remember that exact incident.
I think it's something like that.
I don't remember.
Jeff Gordon was in his eyes pretty soon after that.
Yeah, he had him under yellow.
We're gonna just do this the whole show.
Yeah.
And again, Chastain has had some times where I'm like, yeah, it's too much. Like Gateway, him and Hamlin, like that's just stupid. Don't do that. He's had stupid mistakes. I'm not saying that I'm defending Chastain in every instance, but in this one, it's like, come on, dude. Like Byron did it right before, and Chase Elliott did it pretty soon after.
Yeah,
and there's not nearly the reaction. I'm not Kyle Petty here. It's not like he didn't do nothing wrong in general, but it was very light, minimal contact. Like I don't think we heard anything really that like upsetting from any of the other drivers about him at that point. So it felt like an overreaction to me.
Plus, it's New Hampshire. Sometimes you gotta kind of bump some people out the way to get by sometimes, But yeah, I think it's just because like he's just done it. Like there's been other instances of him doing it and stuff. But like, yeah, this one was a non-issue this time, in my opinion. It didn't warrant that much criticism.
Well, according to the chat, we asked them, was it fair or foul, his take on Ross Chastain. 106 votes have come in so far. 53% say that was a fair take, and then 47% say that was a foul take.
Pretty even.
At one point, it was like 51-49.
Yeah,
too.
at one point, foul had a lot more support, but now it just fell back down to 53-47. We're gonna give this like 3 more minutes, and then
and also I think some of that has to do with like there's a lot of people in the chat who have other different favorite drivers too, and they don't particularly like Ross Chastain. I don't think too.
And I pointed Ross Chastain's probably run into their favorite.
I pointed this out last week. I'm like, there's some bias there too from some of these fans because Ross Chastain has ran into a lot of drivers this year. So.
Like the question Doritos and Mountain Dew has: did Chastain hit anyone under yellow this year?
That's a good question. I guess he's avoided the cardinal sin so far.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Yeah, he has hit plenty of people to make a yellow.
Yeah, he's done that.
He's responsible for a few yellows, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I mean that's my real take on it. It's just in general, I think Burton just took it a little too far, and I thought it was funny because the rest of the booth afterwards is like you hear Let's Hart and Junior like you found a way to get those two to like shut up for a bit. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway, like another thing I noticed is that Kyle Busch could not stop spinning.
Kyle Busch can't catch a break, man.
I meant to bring that up earlier. It was such a weird day for Joe Gibbs Racing. In general, they were fast, but like Hamlin kept having issues on pit road, kept losing track position, trying to battle back to eventually. I think he got maybe a top 5. Kyle Busch was there. He was relevant, but he kept spinning himself out with no contact. Truex was dominant until he wasn't. And then Christopher Bell just lurked and won the race. Like, like Kyle Busch, I know we're going to talk about this later. Do you feel like Kyle Busch is pressing right now? Do you think he's put too much pressure? I mean, it's not even him putting the pressure on himself. It's just the world. It's the entire scenario around the future of his Cup Series career. Like, do you think that pressure is changing the way he drives?
Yeah. I think he's in his head. I think he's in his own head, and he's pushing it too far. He's making mistakes he normally wouldn't make. It reminds me a lot of like 2009 to about 2013 Kyle Busch, where it's just it's like he's regressing almost, which is really odd because at the age he's at, he should be going into like another level of his career. It's not like he's Harvick or his older brother Kurt, and then they're in their not late, but mid 40s. It's like he should statistically be doing better than years past right now. So I think it's all in his head. A lot is in his head. And I think him and his crew chief also don't have the same chemistry that the former and him did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if it's. I mean, like, does it have something to do with all the other outside stuff? Does that have something to do with the lack of performance? Yes, to an extent, but maybe I feel like the main problem is just maybe the 18. They're just not what they used to be. I mean, like they're just. Him and the crew chief don't seem to be really gelling and stuff. And also Kyle Busch. I mean, like we expected some sort of decline, eventually and stuff, but maybe his decline is just starting to happen, I mean, he's always going to be a great driver and stuff, but is he always going to be like, a championship 4 contender here or there and stuff like he used to? I don't think so, but I mean, also like having like all these contract issues and stuff that also has to play a role into it as well.
He's only 37. Like he shouldn't be regressing right now. Like
he should be nearing the peak of his career. Peak is like 38, 39.
I'd expect this regression around like next maybe 5-6 years from now. I'd expect this in 2030.
I guess it's a combination of those things I just mentioned. The contract problems, and then the team's just not gelling as much, and him having.
I think it all started when we got rid of practice, and he was very very public, very candid. Maybe making excuses, you could argue, but I think there was real weight to them that in 2020 with no practice or qualifying, it affected him in a pretty major way. He's great at, he may not sound like a great communicator, but I think he actually is, when you get down to it, great at deciphering what's wrong with the car, explaining what he feels and trying to work to make it better. Like he's great at wheeling an imperfect race car, but when he gets that thing perfect over the course of a race, that's huge. And I think, between 2020 and 2021, very little practice, very little chances to adjust on the car, to now 2022, where you maybe have a little more practice, but with these next gen cars, you can't make any major adjustments. Like I do think that maybe has hurt Kyle Busch more so than it's hurt other drivers in the field. Now, basically, whatever you unload with, you can make some small adjustments to it, but you're not going to take the big swings on it that you could have 2 or 3 years ago. And Kyle Busch's history and knowledge and experience explaining what's wrong with a car, working out throughout the weekend, all of a sudden that skill is no longer valuable or no longer required to drive in the Cup Series. And I think maybe something about that has hurt him more than it's hurt other drivers, especially young drivers who, like a Kyle Larson, who isn't maybe the most technical mind, doesn't know every aspect, every inch of his race car. He just knows how to feel the car out. I think this plays to his strengths as opposed to Kyle Busch. So I think crew chief swap hurts, but I think you can trace it back to the start of 2020. He went from winning a championship at the end of 2019 to having won only 4 races in the past 2.5 years. I think it's all started with the pandemic.
And even then, his one win he got this year was pure luck at what happened to get that.
A little bit, yeah.
Thank you, Chase Briscoe, for helping out.
Yeah, one could say he backed into a win.
Yeah, exactly. Like another driver.
Tyler Reddick almost literally backed into the win. He was like trying to drag that thing across the finish line.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the driver. It's been a while since we've had a guy finish a race in reverse, like backwards. like win the race, I should say, backwards. I think back to that Xfinity finish when Edwards and Stenhouse crashed on like coming to the checkered. I don't think the 6 car was fully backwards yet, but he was at least sideways when he crossed the line.
I mean, he had a tire situation according to Marty Reed.
Outstanding commentary. What a legendary moment.
You hit me under checkers.
Also, I just realized this too. So we're about to enter the month of August. Usually around this time, like stuff that's being planned for next season is already supposed to be finalized around this time. So yeah, I mean, to Jared's earlier point, like, yeah, I mean, that does have some effect on you too. It's like, okay, summer's like we're nearing the end of summer. What's going on for next year? And still not to hear anything. I mean, yeah, that's got to do something to you. And honestly, this is one of those situations that I don't think Kyle Busch has ever experienced too, because I mean, dude, he entered the Cup Series like before he was even 20 years old and stuff. You know,
he's a phenom.
He's a phenom. He's always known like, hey, I'm going to be driving this next year for this team. This is going to be our guys and stuff. And boom, he gets the job done. But now there's a lot of uncertainty too. A lot of it, and then also you have to play into like how's this going to affect his Truck Series team as well. I didn't even think about that neither, with certain alliances and stuff in place, so hey, who knows what's going to happen. It's a very stressful time right now for him.
Yep, absolutely.
I think it's stressful for everyone. I mean, just look at
the playoff situation.
Yeah. We want to get into that now.
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting. Jared has an interesting description of how this one was set. So I'll just say it like this. The playoff grid has been blown TF up is how he has it in there. 6 races to go, and we have only 2 spots remaining. Ryan Blaney is safe by 105 points. Martin Truex Jr. is safe by 68 points. And the guy on the outside looking in, minus 68 back, is Kevin Harvick, with obviously some other hungry hounds behind him. But most likely these are the 3 who have the most realistic shot of getting in on points. But as we've seen, and I think me and Darian was saying, we're kind of going in this direction. We kind of feel like we will see at least 16 winners this season.
Yeah, a couple of things, too, before we get more into it. Jarrett, I'm sorry, I got to hop off the bandwagon. Looks like we're probably going to get 16 or more winners. I don't know. It's just I'm feeling it. So I was in the
6 races, man.
I know, but I got to hop off now. Sorry. I got it, bro. I don't know. I just like at this point, like with the amount of tracks left, I mean, like, we're going to get really – I mean, obviously, we're really close right now.
Truex has to get a win somehow, some way. Truex has to get a win.
But also, one final thing, too, before I let someone else talk. One small detail you didn't you left out, Danny. Martin Truex Jr. and Ryan Blaney, they're in the top 5 in points, and they're on the cut line. So let's talk about that for a moment. I mean, Eric, you start us off here. Like, just it's been a crazy year. Just what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you got to win a race. That's what it comes down to. Blaney, that's been the knock on him his whole career is he doesn't win races. Like that's been the knock. He's really consistent, but until last year, he was what? 1 win, Ryan, every single year.
And then he won 3. I don't know.
And then he won 3 last year, but this isn't last year. So I don't know. This has kind of always been the knock on him. And then Truex, they just haven't been consistently fast. So NASCAR rewards the flash in the pan spectacular game 7
It does not reward
moments.
Consistency anymore.
Not consistently, ironically enough, but it does at times because, I mean, Blaney is plus 105, and I think he's one of the favorites to win these next few weeks. You look at Michigan coming up, I think he's a favorite. He's always a solid road racer. He's great at super speedway, so he's one of the favorites at Daytona. I know that's a wild card. So I'm not off the Blaney bandwagon. I think Blaney and Truex both make it, but I think they are both going to win a race. It's a shame that they don't have a win yet and they have all this extra pressure going into the next few weeks, but I think it makes things interesting. I'm not a huge fan of the winning you're in for the regular season. I think it'd be nice if they did something like they used to do where they had like 10 playoff spots, but then there were 2 that got in on wins, kind of wild card. If they want to keep it at 16, make it like 14-2, something like that. I'm not opposed to a win saving a guy who's 25th in points, but I don't think we should have, like you said, Darian, the fact that the second and 5th place guy in points or something are
third and 5th or third and 4th
are close to falling out. But I'll also say this about this year. If you look at the 16 guys currently in, even Christopher Bell, who just won his first race of the year, I think just about any one of them, minus maybe Briscoe and Cindric, could win the championship. And even Austin Cindric, we just mentioned, has been on kind of a consistent streak lately. So look at last year, it was it's going to be Larson or it's going to be Hamlin probably. There's a few other guys possible. There's 6. This year, I think there's 13 or 14 guys who could legitimately win the championship. I'll even say a guy like Kevin Harvick, who's not in the playoffs right now. I think if he gets in, he's got a shot. Not a great one, but he's got a shot. I can't forget that Phoenix is the championship race. So this year, the parity has been way more prevalent than years past, which is, I think, the main reason we're seeing these wacky point situations.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say in chat, we've got a poll up right now asking you guys, who do you think is gonna blow up the playoffs next? We've got Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, and an other option. Right now, it's pretty much all even down the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know this is definitely something that should be talked about. You know, we have a little bit tonight. It's just, I know that winning a race isn't easy per se, but I feel like it should at least be a little more difficult over the course of a season to make the playoffs. I'm not saying that you have to necessarily get rid of winning you're in, but I think just having the first place guy make it, like, I don't know if that's enough rewarding guys who have been consistently better all year. Like, for instance, I'm looking through the points right now. It's very realistic that Ryan Blaney after Daytona could be a point behind Chase Elliott winning the regular season championship, or no, tied with Chase Elliott and not making the playoffs. But go down the list, Denny Hamlin, because he has 2 wins, is insured into the playoffs, and he might finish behind guys like Austin Dillon, Justin Haley, and McDowell. I love McDowell.
Where's Hamlin in points right now, the regular season standing?
19th.
God.
He is 19th in points.
And who's the lowest winner so far this year? It has
Denny
to be Chase
Hamlin.
Briscoe. Oh, Denny. Oh, wow.
Denny Hamlin.
I thought it was Chase Briscoe.
No, Chase Briscoe is a solid 34 points. Not 34, 24 points ahead of Denny Hamlin.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And Corey LaJoy almost won a weekend.
Yeah, almost won.
I will say about Corey LaJoy, there's no way he's getting in the top 30. He's currently, when it comes to being out at the moment, he's currently 69 points out.
Whoa, well, it's nice, but not nice in this.
That hurts when you wreck 2 weeks in a row.
So for Denny Hamlin, for those who are wondering, like, his stats, he has 2 wins, but he has 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s. That's about right in between both of his 2 drivers, Kurt Busch and Bubba Wallace.
And it's just good.
I respect Hamlin to the fact that he has had a lot of speed this year and things haven't went right. Like, I get that. That happens. That sucks. But at the same time, you got other guys that are doing better than him, are getting better finishes on a regular basis. Guys like, Eric Jones, for instance, who might miss it. Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney. I ask even the most staunch people in the chat who support winning you're in only, do you really think Denny Hamlin deserves to be in the playoffs more than Ryan Blaney or Martin Truex Jr.?
Perhaps Denny Delivers he'll feel some type of way about that.
He'll sway the chat.
Yeah, he'll do his best to sway the chat, probably.
There is quite a lot of, like, drivers who their overall stats are not that good. I was just looking at Byron's stats. He has 4 top 5s and 5 top 10s.
He's been terrible lately.
He's been awful. Yeah.
Although his stats are better than that, 3 top 5s and 9 top 10s, he's been stuck like this for a few weeks, and a horrible summer might even be bad for Alex Bowman. If we get more winners, he could keep sliding.
Yeah, let me real quick look through, because I do think, even though I don't think we're going to get 16 winners that make the playoffs, we might get a 16th with, like, AJ Allmendinger at Indy. That'd be a huge wild card in all of this. Kind of looking through the points right now, the lowest winner is Chase Briscoe. 9 points ahead of Briscoe is Tyler Reddick. Ahead of him by 5 is Daniel Suarez. 6 points ahead of him is Kurt Busch. 4 points ahead of him, Austin Cindric. After that, if you have a win, you're pretty good. I mean, Alex Bowman's 21 above Cindric, so overall he's like 45 above, but that should be another cut line that I think NBC should be focused on right now, because if there are more than 16, these guys are in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we've got an angry Slap Shoes in the chat who said, "Let me in right now. I'm mad about Road America."
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that later in the show.
I agree with him. I'm upset.
Did you guys meet up with him at the kink again this year?
Among the campgrounds.
I sadly did not see him at all, but Slab, I have a nice T-shirt here for you.
I just realized that. Yeah,
I saw our friend Rusty Walrus, I believe, had a hat for the kink, the Road America kink. I really wanted that hat. I don't know where he got it. If they sold it at the track, I need to find one resale, but that's pretty cool.
By the way, thank you for the over 500 watching. Look at that like button.
Yeah, look the like button.
Look at that like button.
Huge.
525 watching, but only 97 likes. We need to increase that ratio right there.
Yes, increase the ratio.
We're talking about our ratings. Jarrett, we got ratings for this weekend at New Hampshire that were pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so looking at it, the USA experiment at the moment is 2 for 3 so far this year, with a 1.45 rating and 2.403 million viewers right now. Means that we're up 15% in ratings and 14% in viewership from the 2021 race that was rain delayed after the first few laps. But this was also the most watched Loudon race since 2019, which since 2018 has been NASCAR's most watched season. So a good thing to look at there. 460,000 in the key demo, which means about 19% of the total audience was between 18 and 49. Which is about what cable does. But yeah, so far the trend is looking good for USA.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. And keep in mind, this race did start about 20 or 30 minutes later than initially advertised because of rain.
Meanwhile,
which might have helped, I think, or maybe hurt. I don't know.
So while they're reporting on, while NASCAR's reporting on their awesome ratings, meanwhile, IndyCar for the, they're not even freaking reporting the ratings for Peacock. They aren't even reporting that. They're not reporting that for the ratings for that at all. I even heard they were showing like traditional commercials. I'm like, what's the point of having Peacock when you have to have commercials on there?
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, so that's a giant waste of time.
So they advertised it as less commercials, and technically they weren't wrong.
There
were less commercials, as in less commercial variety, because they replayed the same.
It's the same three
over and
over. Oh.
It was like when we did the Filter Time Bash a few years ago, except instead of like two guys broadcasting heat with a bunch of people racing, it was NBC broadcasting a professional motorsport.
Maybe they watched our old stream and they were like, hey, let's just do it like this. It would be a lot cheaper or something. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm with David though on that, man. If like NASCAR goes to Peacock and there's nothing having to do with FCC on there or anything, it's like, man, just let them loose. Like Dale Jr. be talking
Kenny
about
Wallace on every broadcast.
Yeah,
Jr. be talking about giant ass spoilers every week.
Yeah, that would be mild compared to the stuff he would talk about on there. But meanwhile, for NASCAR's ratings, not a bad weekend though, and USA is starting to pick up a little bit of traction now, so that's good.
That's good because most of the next 8 races or something, like pretty much the rest of the season until the playoffs. Is the Daytona regular season finale on NBC or is it also on USA?
And so is the Indy Road Course.
Oh, okay. We do have 2. Never mind. I thought we only had 1 until the playoffs.
And
all right, good.
Then the last 6 races this season will all be on big NBC.
Sweet. Get ready for even more commercials. Ooh.
Nothing but commercials.
And we'll be being rushed off the air due to Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, can't wait for that to happen.
I was trying to remember what the Sunday Night Football theme song was. I get them all mixed up. Is that the?
There you go.
All right,
calm down, Jared. The Vikings don't ever play on Sunday Night Football.
You got 3 of them this year.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Wait, what was their record? What was their record though? 2-1 or something.
Not as good. On Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
I think it was
I watched one of the losses.
0-3. I think 0-3.
Oh man,
we lost to Cooper Rush.
I was there for that one.
Jared,
that was crazy.
Jared, just want to make you aware of this. I saw a stat recently that had a list of each NFL team's wins over the last 25 years. Our team, Titans and Vikings, were pretty much right beside each other. I think you was ahead by 1 win over the last 25 years, and we were both about middle of the pack. So we were actually above middle of the pack. So we're all right.
It's not okay unless it's a Super Bowl. That's my take. But yep. But no, good ratings overall. I think we have some other ratings though.
Yes, that's right. The poll, the famous iceberg poll. Yes. Let's get into it.
So it's pretty favorable this week. We got 13.7K votes, and it was 79% net positive, with 19% saying great and 60% saying good. And I see our other poll, Ryan Blaney is the favorite for blowing up the playoffs.
Just barely. They had other at 27%, so there's someone else that they've got their eyes on.
16% said it was an average race, 6% net negativity, with 3% apiece for below average and bad. The first comment, no shocker here, was from Denny Delivers.
No.
Was it positive or negative, y'all?
Positive.
Neutral
meme.
The sole reason why Austin Dillon made contact with Keselowski under Yella is so his life in the Fastlane TV show can increase in ratings.
So did he spell it Yella with an A at the end?
No, I added that in.
Oh, okay. Very clever.
I would classify it as meme, so.
Let's keep meme as an option from now on.
Yeah.
Positive, negative, or meme.
Down.
Look at some other ones here. Top rated comment was from Nick here, who says, I can't lie, I thought this race is going to be meh because of the mechanics of the next gen car, but this race surprised me. Not a chaotic race, but a good hard race throughout, and the playoff picture gets even more interesting.
Go back to Gateway. It seems the last couple flat, shorter-ish ovals have actually raced pretty good. And it seems like the common thread is when there truly are multiple lanes to run. Phoenix, everyone's right around the top in 1 and 2, and kind of, I guess they're all over in 3 and 4, but you didn't see a lot of passing at Phoenix. Martinsville is a 1-lane track. So hopefully we're starting to shed some light on actual good racing on flat tracks.
Flags and Whistles says, one of the better races I've seen at New Hampshire. Cool to see Bell win, but as a Truex fan, I'm not so happy because that puts him on the bubble spot now. Of course, he's got quite a gap over whoever's behind him, probably Harvick. It is Harvick. So I'm not stressing about it too much. I'm surprised.
I'd be stressing.
I remember as a junior fan, even in 2015 when he was doing well, before he got a win, I was like, oh no, this isn't good.
Hold on, just want to say, appreciate the generosity there, Chris Cantina. We'll get to Super Chats a little bit later, but thank you very much for that.
Yes, thank you.
Look, I love the name here. Llama Racing Network says, feel for Truex. Seems if he wins the first 2 stages, he can't win a race. For reference, look at the 500. Oh, that's right.
Oh, the ice. That's terrible.
Oh, all right. Here's one. Everyone, I get people getting on me for not reading ones that disagree with us, so I'll read one here. Elite Precision 29 says, I know Jarrett said, by the way, I have 1 R and 1 T in my name, said Bubba would be a waste of a playoff spot, but I got to disagree with that. Ever since Darlington, 2311 has found consistent top 10 speed for the most part. They just have to have a pit crew put together. They're pit crew problems. I'm not saying Bubba would make a deep playoff run, but he can make it past the first round at least. I mean, I'm not saying he can't, but if you're not really going to get to the round of 8, like, are you
a lot? And
competitive?
I feel like a lot would have to go his way too. Like, I mean, a lot would have to go his way to obviously make it into the playoffs, but then just to make it out of the first round,
he'd have to make it in, and then. But then, like, when all those bonus points start getting factored into that can really make a huge difference. The first 3 tracks are Darlington, Kansas. Well, he's all right at Kansas. Bristol could easily get tore up. I don't know.
Bristol go either way. Like, I think any of them so far that can make it, and if he were to win, he can make it to the round of 12. I think he could. Getting a win at Talladega could make it to the round of 8, but do I think he'd be competitive in the round of 8? And that answer is no. Like, if you're not competitive in that round, does it really matter if you make it?
I think for a lot of guys, having Kansas replace Richmond makes that round have a few more options now. Because used to, I feel like it was all just very similar races, like a short track kind of things for that round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ian Fisher says, I love this track. Tempers, green flags, and having to live with your pit road decisions. Yeah, definitely pit strategy with it being a shorter race makes it like really matter if you screw up on pit road. Like Hamlin's crew, man, they were just off.
But also, too, Austin Cindric's crew, they screwed up and they got the book thrown at them, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right. let's see. Scrolling down a little more before I go down to the 5 negative ones. Well, there's like a lot of congratulations to Christopher Bell. A lot of happiness for Bell blowing up the playoffs. A lot of people saying there's going to be 18 or 19 winners.
Oh, I don't know about 18 or 19.
Hold your horses.
I'm thinking maybe 17.
Yeah, 16 or 17 maybe.
15. I'm going 15.
I used to be, I was like ahead. Everyone was like, oh, 13 or 14. I was like, no, 15. And now everyone's like 16, 17. I'm like, no, 15.
Keep pushing it. Keep pushing it.
Just a lot of people saying great race. Michael Curtis says, I loved it. I got Bell at 18-1 odds before qualifying. Nice.
That was a steal. Hey, I'm telling you, these odds makers, they don't watch racing like that, man. They just look at the little stats or whatever. They're like, all right, let's just base our odds off of that.
Espo says best race of the year, and I'm 100% biased as a Bell fan.
Yeah.
And
but also, go ahead.
Andrew Meyer left power rankings race rankings for best races of the year. And number 1 is like Auto Club or so. But New Hampshire is 9th out of 24 with who wants to guess what 24th would be?
All-Star.
Martinsville. Oh, really? Wow.
Yep. Martinsville is not actually that, too far down. Let's see. I'm going to vet these really quick because I just want to make sure that I'm not going to read anything that would incriminate me on here, and I think we're good.
That would be unfortunate.
The 5th lowest voted comments from Jeb 4100 with one word just says great. Bradley Martinez says NASCAR sucks, bad race, no passing, and Cody Ware didn't win. I'm thinking that was
okay. That's a meme. That's a meme.
Yeah, he's trolling.
Ethan Johnson with a old school Dale Earnhardt 3 and other stuff with Dale says yawn, what a snoozer. In the fast lane with MRN says I hate JGR. And then the lowest voted comment was don't know how it was, quit watching 15 years ago, couldn't pay me to watch a NASCAR race in this era from Chad Henderson. And one response is, did someone pay you to watch the race? Obviously, you care a little bit because you took the time to look into the comments, vote on the poll.
That was like the most stereotypical NASCAR comment I've ever seen. Wow.
Like, died 15 years ago.
NASCAR, it died, yeah.
It hit all the bullet points.
All he needed to say to make it a complete statement would be NASCAR died when Dale died.
Yeah, you could have just tied it all together, put a bow on it.
Really good. But yeah, thank you for voting in the poll. We'll have it again up. We'll have it up after the Pocono race, probably between the end of the race and when I go live in the 5 minutes after the race. So at some point around then.
Yeah, and also really quick, shout out to I guess you can call him a very biased fan. Christopher Bell's dad, David Bell, actually watches NR Night in America, and I got to congratulate him in the chat and stuff, whatever. So it's not often you get to congratulate the winner's dad often, but he watches a lot. He knows my channel and stuff. He watches all of you guys as well. So yeah, so congratulations on your son's second career Cup Series win.
Nice.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, that was the poll, the famous iceberg poll. I do want to give a quick shout out real quick. I'll have a full video up tomorrow, but I'm not just wearing this hat because it matches the blue on my shirt beautifully. But earlier this week, Bailey Curry and JD Motorsports announced that Alka-Seltzer will be on their car for this weekend's race at Pocono. And I'm going to do some pretty cool content stuff with them this weekend. And I just got to say, it's pretty cool to see Alka-Seltzer back in the sport. The last time they were in NASCAR or on a race car was Matt Kenseth back in 2003, I believe. So just wanted to give a shout out to Alka-Seltzer. Cool to have a big brand like that back in the sport. And I want to let you guys know that we do have some pretty cool stuff coming out over the next few days, beginning, I believe, tomorrow. So just keep an eye out for that. I just wanted to throw that in there before we get to the Xfinity race.
Very beautiful, bright blue and orange colors on that car. It looks really nice.
Yeah. I remember when Kenseth used to have that sponsor. Yeah. Did he ever win a race in that car?
I don't remember if he did for sure. He might have won in the
2003, right? Okay.
It would have been Xfinity or Busch series at the time. He might have won in the Bayer car once or twice, which is an affiliate, but no, it's a good looking scheme. So I'm excited to see it this weekend.
Well, on the subject of the Xfinity series, there was an Xfinity race this weekend, and Justin Allgaier was able to get another win in that one. What did you guys think of this one?
Well, before Allgaier won, he completely just took out Landau. Jeff. Well, no, that's another funny thing too. Jeff Burton with that incident was, I don't know. He did. She needs to get closer to the wall. She was damn near like how much closer can
She
you
was
get?
going straight against the wall.
Yeah, like how much closer can you get? Like even Ty Gibbs wasn't even that close to the wall. Like she was closer to the wall than Ty Gibbs was, who was right ahead of her. But yeah, I don't know. But hey, look, shout out to Allgaier on getting the win. But yeah, that was totally his fault earlier in the race.
It's just another instance, I think, at this point of showing just how fast JRM is compared to the rest of the field right now. I mean, yeah, some of the other guys had some issues, but one of the guys who had issues was William Byron, who had probably the top 3 or 2 car at the same time. So JRM right now, just of the main Xfinity guys, of not having Cup guys come down, like I think they are the clear favorites right now for getting to the Final Four and winning in November.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if it's 3 JRM cars and like Ty Gibbs in the championship 4 at this rate. I think that's what we're looking at.
Well, Allmendinger could still get in there.
I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it right now, but
Hey,
sure,
look,
yeah, he could.
Ninth is way in.
Hey, look, colleague showed they did show some strides this weekend. Landon Castle was competing for the victory too, but then he had his finish taken away though. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it was one of Castle's best runs of the year, and he gets 37th.
It's been a weird few weeks. Like there's kind of some speculation around his big sponsor Voyager. They just filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and then he gets finally a good run. And then took away from him. So I said on Twitter, I was kind of glad he didn't win because that would have hurt having to see him get his win taken away.
But the good news is Brandon Brown got a top 3 finish as a result.
Yeah, and Jeremy Clements got a top 5, I believe. There was a lot of names up there you're not used to seeing.
Unironically, let's go Brandon.
Yeah, finally in a good way.
The 34 car, not driven by Jesse Wuji, gets a top 10 again, an 8th place finish of Kyle Weatherman.
Gosh, again, look,
he's saving that team.
Kyle Weatherman, they need to put him in that car full time, man. Like they need to, bro. Like,
does Emmett Smith only show up to the races Jesse Wuji drives in?
I mean, the only race I've seen him at this year was Daytona.
I kind of imagine Emmett calling Jesse and saying, "Hey, how'd your relief driver do? He do okay? Yeah, he got a top 10. Oh,
why isn't he the main driver?
Yeah, can we have him in? Put him in the car full time." Yeah, I don't know, man.
Peter in the chat, how's it going, man? He says, first NASCAR race with multiple DQs since the inaugural World 600.
Whoa.
Right. I saw that.
Wow. Interesting stat. Thank you, Peter.
There was a caveat to that. I think this year there was multiple DQs, if I'm not mistaken, in one of the dual races. I can't remember if that's for sure, but that didn't count as a points race, so it's not factored in.
Peter said that Emmett Smith was at Texas.
Okay. Oh, and did Bailey Curry finish in the top 10?
He did. He did. He was 12th and moved up to 10th, so that was
nice.
Pretty cool.
Hey, just in time for the sponsor announcement too. Hey, thanks for looking good, man.
Good momentum.
A lot of people are pointing out too Trevor Bayne with another second place finish. So
can we talk about Trevor Bayne for a second? I know I've made a bust video on him, and yes, I do fully believe he was a bust in the Cup Series. Not all his fault, but when you're looking at his performances in the Xfinity Series, I mean, if he were to run full time, do you think he would have a shot at a championship? Or no?
I don't want to say championship. I mean, anything's possible in Joe Gibbs' equipment if he's in that, but definitely a few wins.
How many races did he run this year? Like 7?
Only like 5 or something like that.
Not that many.
I think he'd be like AJ Allmendinger, kind of like just top 10, top 5 his way in, and
but
he'd be like Hamrick was last year and this year, really.
Exactly how Allmendinger started off with Kaulig. He was just in a few races, and then it grew to a full season, and then now he's a part-time Cup driver again with him. So
but it also goes to show just like sometimes it just takes just moving from like one team to another to completely reviving someone's career. Just a simple move like that. I mean, because you look back at those years at Roush and stuff, and he was very critical of him once he left and stuff. And hey, sometimes it's the teams that ruin these drivers. It's not all on the drivers too.
Look at Joey Logano. He should have done well with Joe Gibbs, moved to Penske, and it completely kickstarts his career.
And I remember at that time, I was hammering. I was like, I wanted Team Penske to sign Sam Hornish to a full-time ride for 2013 at the time.
Because he wasn't doing bad in that car.
I know, but still.
Logano
was better in the long run, though. Yeah. But shout out to Trevor Bayne, though, man. Hopefully, if he gets a full-time opportunity, I think he'd be really good.
If he can get a full-time opportunity or get himself a win with Joe Gibbs, Darian, I think you should go out to Knoxville and go visit his coffee shop.
Yeah, IDK
your
keeps
respect.
IDK keeps telling me about this coffee shop all the time. You know what? I should just introduce myself if he happens to be there. Be like, hey, good news. I'm a supporter. But bad news.
Time out. He's not going to be there.
Oh,
Because he's going to be in victory lane.
Yes. He's
No, just from what I've heard, it's like any other business owner. He's never there unless it's a publicity thing. So
yeah, true.
That's just devastating.
But in conclusion, shout out to Justin Allgaier. What is this? 2 wins on the season now? 2, 3?
Is it 3? I've lost track.
Same. There's been so many races this year. So
it doesn't matter
multiple
to the
wins.
playoffs.
Yeah. Hey, NASCAR set it up like that, not us. So yeah, you're right. And he's right though.
But then there was one other incident: Noah Gregson and Daniel Hamrick.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, no punches were thrown this time that I saw at least.
Yeah.
I think from what Gregson pretty much, and I don't know if he thinks this, but he let it pretty much slide from what it sounds like. Probably because if he does anything else, like, he's going to lose points again.
Well, he doesn't want to piss off anyone. He doesn't want to piss off Colleague any more than he already has.
Well,
that's a Cup Series ride for him next year, you know?
I just remembered that. That's right.
And in the end, I guess it didn't matter because Hamrick slid anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He can let it slide if he slides.
Yeah.
Slip and slide.
Did you say slip and slide?
Slip and slide.
Yeah, you guys ever play with slip and slides?
I love slip and slides.
It's so damn hot everywhere. I'm about to go to Walmart and pick me up a slip and slide. I don't even have a yard, but I'll go to like the little dog park here and I'm just gonna start slipping and sliding. It's hot. Shoot.
No, it is, bro.
Yeah.
But
I can't get used to this humidity. It's crazy. But yeah, that was the Xfinity series.
That'll do it for the Xfinity race. I think now's the point where we can read about 3 minutes of super chats. Anyone want to do a timer for me for that?
I'm working on it. Go for it.
All right. Let me refresh the page here and get them all pulled up here.
And 485 watching. Make sure to lick the like button, everybody. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
Yeah,
let's get above 200 likes here before we get to the lightning round.
And we've had a lot of very generous donations too at that. But we'll go through them all a little bit here at a time. Started off with Cavante Caldwell coming in at $4.99 tonight. Appreciate that. I like Jarrett, but to have Logano in your final 4 over Larson is insane. He's 5th in points with the 2nd most top 5s. He's been consistent. And it just says the hate.
I don't hate Larson. What is it with people thinking I hate Hendrick Motorsports? Jesus Christ. I'm sorry that Kyle Larson has more DNFs than pretty much anyone else in the top 10. Sorry. I didn't do that.
Damn, they're coming at Jared tonight. First the Bubba Wallace thing, now Larson.
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
Well, this person...
That'll win him over.
Cavante might not like Joey Logano, but this next person does. The Stig coming in with $10. Appreciate that. Some say that I'm a proud Joey Logano fan, and that if I sent a YouTube super chat, I would have come up with something more creative than Boo Harvick. All they know is I'm called the Stig. John Vandeventer comes in at $4.99. Appreciate that. I'm disappointed about Road America, but let's be real. How bad the ratings were and how mediocre the race was did not help its case. The race I don't think was that bad, but the ratings definitely did hurt.
Yeah, I
but a lot of people were at the track, so being there, I saw the energy and excitement. And Tardos comes in with $1.99. Appreciate that. Mark my words, Chicago is going to be a bleep show. And it might be, but we'll have to wait and see next year. Isaac coming in at $5. Appreciate that. Danny B, I would like to give you a middle finger for your Transformers car tweet. You triggered my PTSD flashbacks to watching those awful, awful movies. Hey, you can blame RFK Racing for that, not me. I'm just responding back to what I see on Twitter. So sorry about that. Napa Racing Fat 927 comes in at $5. Appreciate it. I'm very uncertain about the Chicago straight race. I'm for a straight race, but the turns are way too tight for NASCAR. Chicagoland and Road America are better. I think most of us kind of agree with that sentiment to a point. Jake Alcorn comes in at $4.99. Appreciate that. How about instead of suspensions for wheels falling off, they have offending crew members have mandatory extra pit practice to maybe improve? I think that should happen either way. They should definitely be practicing either way.
You got to practice either way. Right?
Yeah, they're still going to practice each week, so I don't know. Nova Stone 12 comes in at $1.99. Appreciate that. Chase and Blowing Race wins. Name a better duo.
He's got how many wins does he have this year?
Bell is just faster than
And
3 minutes, by the way.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But
yeah, we'll get back to more of those super chats a little bit later tonight. But we are funded by viewers like you, thank you. But also we are funded by one of our great sponsors, Lionel Racing. You can get your official NASCAR diecast from our good friends at Lionel Racing. You can go to lionelracing.com, pre-order your favorite 2022 diecast or 2021 race win diecast from previous races. And there's also lots of other good options you can do, such as picking up the NASCAR Phoenix line at your local Walmart. I have got here in my hands a throwback from the 2020 season, William Byron's Jimmy Johnson throwback that was a set of all the Hendrick cars throwing back to Jimmy Johnson that season. I see you guys have got some very different diecasts. I want to start with the tiniest one I see. Jarrett, what is that?
This is a little 1.5-inch Lake Speed diecast with the old Hanna-Barbera Cartoon Network's car. This came along, and I don't know where the truck went, but it came along with a hauler set that you could put the car up into. The hauler was like, I think that long. But I always like showing this one just because of how tiny it is. I mean, just look at this thing. Like, I tried to do the bump draft thing, and it can't even fit the whole screen.
Yeah, it can't focus.
So, yeah, pretty cool one.
Well, next up, Darian, what have you got there?
So this is a very early birthday present. My birthday is on July 26th, next Tuesday. I'll be turning 25 years old. So when Joe Gibbs first decided to enter the NASCAR Cup Series, they decided to make a bunch of diecasts with the official NFL teams on there. Some of y'all know, I am a diehard St. Louis / Los Angeles Rams fan, and as an early birthday present, my mom and auntie were able to find one of the diecast. And also, what makes this even cooler is that you can tell it's older too, because these are a list of the other official licensed teams. I'm going to read off a few here, and these are obviously outdated: the Los Angeles Raiders, the Houston Oilers, the San Diego Chargers. And this is my personal favorite, the Phoenix Cardinals, not the Arizona Cardinals. Wait.
Cardinals. There's got to be one more.
What do you mean? Wait, one more.
Washington Redskins.
Oh, that's right. Yes, the Washington Redskins. That's 5 outdated teams on there now. But yeah, one of my favorite diecasts.
And I feel like the Redskins one, since it's a Joe Gibbs like edition, that one has to be the rarest one out there.
Probably, yeah. But it's also signed by Dale Jarrett too.
Justice for San Diego. They should have the Chargers still.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah.
F.U. Spanos.
But thanks for the early birthday present.
And then, Eric, what have you got there? That looks like the most appropriate one.
Yeah, so I went with a clear theme. I've been trying to do that more and more this year. But Christopher Bell getting his first win of the season. This is his Ream car from last year, signed by Christopher Bell. This is the scheme he won his first career race in, and then obviously this year, basically the same thing. Just the number slid forward.
He has a funny way of winning only in Ream colors, I guess.
I'm waiting for him to win in those yellow and black DeWalt colors. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm waiting for. Kyle Busch couldn't get it done this week, so maybe Christopher Bell can at some point.
I guess only one guy is meant to win in those. Well, Marcus Ambrose too, but.
Mm-hmm. That was a Stanley car. That was Stanley.
Oh, you're right. He didn't win at DeWalt.
Yeah, it was on the side. It was on the side of it.
Yeah. But appreciate our friends over at Lionel Racing. Again, check out them online and get your favorite diecast ordered today. Guys, I think something's happening here.
Yes, on the radar right now, it says rain on and off right now, but we know something that's currently on at the moment. And it's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what do we have on tap for tonight?
Oh, we got a little bit here. So first one is a bit of a rumor / reporting for Bob Pocker saying that Martinsville could use the Bristol Dirt Aero package for the playoff race this year, as that would remove the diffuser, among other things that would kind of try and take a lot of that aero effect out that we saw this past spring.
Hopefully make the racing better.
We'll talk about this in a little bit. The Chicago media, as well as Aldermans, are really pushing back on the street course idea, which, a little spoiler for later, is not actually completely signed into, being ready yet. NBC is actually saying they're planning on having Dale Jr. as lead announcer for a couple more races this year if they can manage to work it, according to Bob.
Pause for a second. I know you guys are all Dale Jr. fans. I'm not a fan of this. Rick Allen's not
one
great.
One a year.
Yeah, Rick Allen's not great or anything, but I like having a dedicated TV guy to lead and help the broadcast flow.
I'm going to push back on that. I actually think Rick Allen is good, and he is way overhated.
He's fine. He's overhated, but I wouldn't say he's like amazing. He's fine.
But I agree.
He's still better than the wheel.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Dale Jr. If you want to call truck broadcast the rest of the year, be my guest.
Do that.
No Mike Joyce, no Alan Bestwick, but who else right now that's in NASCAR commentating aside from maybe Adam Alexander would you put there? Like
that's fair.
I think he's good to goodish.
Sure. Goodish.
He's not bad.
Yeah.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will be driving the number 48 Xfinity car. This is previously a Reddick scheduled run, as well as the fact that Nick Sanchez will be in the number 48 as well at Bristol, Texas, Las Vegas, and Homestead, according to Bob.
Hey, Eric, what happened to Reddick? What happened, man?
I don't know. Some of those Sanchez ones may have been scheduled, but I doubt they all were. I bet some of those were Reddick races.
Childress just went out. Napa Auto Parts has signed a multi-year extension with Chase Elliott.
Surprise.
No idea on how many years it is, but it's 26 races per year. And then last but not least, congratulations to fellow YouTuber and friend of the channel and show IDK Player for the release of his new NASCAR-styled Roblox game, NR Thunder. I streamed that this past week, and that was really fun.
A ton of kids keep winning in y'all's schemes, by the way, especially Eric's. Like there was this one little banana themed character and stuff. He was doing the jumps in the banana suit.
I still don't even have the DannyBTalks car, so I'm kind of upset about that. So.
Well, he can do an update. He can do an update.
The black and yellow 17 though looks great.
There's an 84 in there for Danny.
Oh wait, there is an 84 in there. Yeah, that's right.
I just don't have it. I'm not allowed to use it.
Thunder coins, man.
Yeah. We'll talk to him. We'll get you the hookup. But yeah, no, congrats, bro. Congrats on the game. Appreciate it.
But yeah, that covers it.
Yes, and that'll conclude another edition of the Lightning Round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now back to the show.
We've got some big, heavy-hitting stories. Silly season. We'll talk Chicago Street Course in a minute. I know you guys are all on the edge of your seat to hear Jarrett talk about that live. But first, the NASCAR Weekly Podcast is also sponsored by Forney Industries. Forney, as you all well know, offers a full line of welding and plasma cutting machines, metalworking accessories, and more. Great for do-it-yourselfers all the way up to the pros, professional metalworkers. Forney has everything you need for your next project. So be sure to shop all of Forney's top-of-the-line products at forneyend.com. That's Forney, I as in igloo, N as in next gen.
Nigeria.
Neapolitan, I like that. And I forgot the last letter. But check them out. The link is down in the description. D is in, I forgot the last letter.
Danny B.
Yeah, we got a lot of D names on this show. But yeah, be sure to check them out. That's Forney Industries. Appreciate their support. Danny, what do we have next? Which topic are we tackling first? We've got a few to choose.
We're trying to get a friend of ours to come in and talk about this. I've sent him the link, but he has not said anything back yet or gotten into it. But we're going to talk about the Chicago Street Course. It is official for the most part. Kind of, sort of. We'll talk about that more here in a minute. But tentatively, as of now, July 1st through 2nd, 2023, the NASCAR Cup Series will be on the streets of Chicago for a points-paying race. But sadly, this means we have lost Road America on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. I think it's safe to assume that we haven't lost NASCAR Road America altogether because, of course, they've been together for quite a few years before this. But, here we're going to welcome in a special guest of ours to the show, good friend of the channel here. Wait for him to pop up in here. Slap Shoes is joining. Slap was very, very vocal about this in our chat, and we decided let's get him in here. Let's talk about the Chicago Street Course.
Hey.
Forgetting about something.
Where did you get that? Where these hats?
Rusty bought this for me.
Where else do you think he got that hat? He got it at the Kink.
I wanted. There was like a guy selling him out of a van there. Like, how did this happen? I'm jealous. It's a good looking hat.
Hey, we need to go. Road America got done dirty, man. Got done dirty.
They did. So talk about that, man. Just what are your thoughts on this whole announcement and stuff?
I think a street course is a good thing. I think it's a good idea. Honestly, I think it's a good idea.
Is Chicago the right city?
I think a major American city. Yeah, I think the Midwest is not oversaturated or anything. But if you really want to expand out there, maybe Seattle, Portland, a place where we already don't have a foothold. The Pepsi Center, it's not called a Pepsi Center anymore, where the Nuggets play over in Denver.
Oh, yeah.
Kart used to race out there. That's an open parking lot. You're not going to piss anybody off by shutting down roads or anything. And part of the Chicago street course is Lakeside Drive. When Cody picked me up from the airport going to Road America, he actually took me down Lakeside Drive. Dude, there's potholes like this deep.
Welcome to Illinois.
They gotta repave the whole thing, and they gotta do it like the clock is ticking, man. We gotta go.
It's less than a year now. Yeah, it's less than a year.
So God, the streets in Chicago are.
Okay,
dude, it doesn't get any better until you're in
I just want y'all to read that.
I've driven on the interstate in Louisiana, and they have like legit speed bumps in the middle of the frickin' interstate.
I just want y'all to.
Chicago was almost as bad with the potholes that are like this deep.
Just read that super chat. Just read it.
Oh, what does it say?
It's just funny.
I see.
Because of words, and I might have to censor that when I read it later.
Oh, you can at least read the Chirac part. That's literally what everyone in Illinois calls it.
The AK-47 in Chirac. It's on July 4th weekend, dude. That's
Exactly.
That's when like over July 4th weekend there was in Chicago there was one mass shooting, and I think 15 people went to the hospital being shot.
Yeah.
So
and that's not even including fireworks blowing up at people.
Yeah, but when we were in the middle of Chicago, where the proposed street course is going to be, like I felt safe, and it looked like any other city in America, and it was nice. I know there's it's a lot like Baltimore. There's a central area where everything is cool and it's great to visit and everything, but once you go outside of that area, you're on your own.
There are even parts here in Nashville. I've told Jarrett and Darren here about the area where me, Jarrett, and Darren live is pretty safe, but then there's a good portion looking like right to the west of that, and until you get to actual downtown Nashville, there are parts of it I would say don't go there.
Stay away from them sundown counties, man. Stay away from them, bro.
Anyway, there's places like that in Greenville. there's places that in every city where it's a little bit sketchy. But Baltimore and Chicago, where it was like literally a centralized area where everything was fine, and then this massive area where it's just a free fire zone. Baltimore, like you drive, if you're in city center of Baltimore, and you drive 15 minutes in any direction, like you're on your own, you're in Afghanistan. Chicago's a lot like that, man. Chicago, when I flew in, when I flew in, like the city center, it's fine, everything was there on the ground. But when you fly in and you see, you're over O'Hare and you see all these row homes, like half of them abandoned and everything, you're just like, man, nothing good goes on there.
Well, and it's like the pothole stuff, it's the same way till you get to Wisconsin. I lived in Illinois for 24 years, and Glockford is exactly the same, or some also call it Rockganistan.
Okay, get more creative with these names.
Yeah.
And then we got in the area I lived, we had Glockford. I lived in a town called McChesney Park, but it was such it was terrible. There were Breaking Bad activities made there a lot. So we used to call that one Parkinsaw. You had Belvitucky. It's just Illinois is not a good state.
You're saying they sold the Happy Diamonds up there. Got it.
Oh yeah. As blue as that super chat. But I mean, that's just an Illinois thing, is the roads up there suck because of the winters. But
dude, you can blame the winters all you want to. But when I was with Cody, we're driving down to Indiana, to film something down there. It was a slap on location episode. Hopefully, be out in 2 weeks. But
nice plug.
we were driving down to Indiana, and we're going down this highway through Chicago, and it's like ka-dunk, 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 ka-dunk. As soon as it says you're now entering Indiana, nice and smooth.
Yep, it is that way. It's the same way with when you go up from like Northern Illinois right into this town called Beloit. You're going, it's just completely fine for like 20 miles until you get to the next crappy town.
It's like that in South Carolina when you go from county to county and you see like a sign that says county maintenance ends here, and then like all of a sudden it like goes to complete crap. You're dodging like potholes a foot deep.
I've told Jarrett about this. Next month I'll be fishing right on the Kentucky-Illinois border. I'm going to tell Jarrett how many fish I catch on the Kentucky side and how few fish I catch on the Illinois side, just because I bet it'll be like that.
You could catch fish in the potholes on the Illinois side, man.
So really quick question. So like NASCAR is not the only thing that's planned to be run there. There's also a IMSA GT race that's supposed to be ran there on Saturday. And then also it says 2 A-list concerts. Do we have like the artist names yet or no? Still too early?
No.
Okay. All right, but that's the plan.
What's the main like music taste in Chicago? Because like,
rap, hip hop, R&B, all
everything.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jazz clubs in Chicago. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not a Chicago fan personally, but there are some real gems in that city if you look hard enough.
That's some good music. Yeah, a lot of talent comes out of there. Yeah, so.
At least the area they're racing at is kind of like you guys said, it's a well-visited area. Like it is sort of in that central hub that is tourist Chicago. So obviously safety, security in a large city, not the easiest thing to guarantee, but I'm sure NASCAR and the city are aware of that and are going to do their best to keep things as organized as possible.
I can say this. When I went to the LA Coliseum the day before the race, we just kind of drove out there, just kind of see the area. As we're driving through there is a really expensive, super nice supercar that looks like it's obviously been stolen and parked sideways, facing the wrong direction with the flashers on. So it can happen anywhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, LA, it's major cities. That's part of the concern. When it comes to picking Chicago, though, and I want to hear what you guys feel about this. The idea of running a street race, it's cool, but it's never been done in NASCAR. You know, is a street race really where NASCAR's product thrives the best? That's
probably not.
Highly debatable, but probably not. So when it comes to this decision, I can't shake the feeling that the only thought that was put into it was big city, new market, and hey, Formula One, IndyCar are doing the same thing. And it feels like Formula One, IndyCar already got dibs on the more I don't want to say desirable, but the more desirable cities. Vegas, Miami, trendy is a good word. Vegas, Miami, Nashville. Those have been swallowed up by IndyCar and F1. So it feels like NASCAR.
Long Beach as well. That's tradition.
Yeah, sure, of course. Long Beach, St. Petersburg. It feels like NASCAR got last pick in the draft in a way, is the way I kind of see it.
Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah.
So they just saw big city, new market, let's go. And I feel like I can't help but shake the feeling that they didn't give it any more thought than that. I know they did, but it doesn't feel like it.
I'll counter that to an extent. Now, the layout for the road course has already been talked about. Dave Lane had talked about this in his most recent upload. The way it's set up is there are a lot of 90-degree turns. So I think what's going to happen is, so I think it's set up to be very chaotic in terms of a street course race. You know, when you watch like a street course race for IndyCar, F1 and stuff, it's usually very tamed outside of the inaugural Nashville GP, of course. I think NASCAR is kind of hoping for that scenario to happen, where we get a race that's very chaotic, where the racing isn't the best, but there's a ton of wrecks because of these 90-degree turns and stuff. So I just
worry when they do wreck, it'll be dangerous. It'll just be like spectacular, wipe out.
And also
cars,
the cautions will be very long too. That'll be another thing. That's another thing.
It won't be as long as Road America. I mean, this is
good point.
But
like Eric was thinking, it looks like the iRacing version looks like it's a very tight racetrack, not a lot of room to pass. So when there is a caution, it could really stack up and be like a parking lot essentially.
Yeah. So, I mean, like it from the layout, it didn't look like there was like a whole lot of passing zones outside of these like really sharp corners and stuff. So, yeah, it'll be very chaotic.
Kind of going back to what Eric was saying, though, I feel like with Chicago, the culture of the city right now is definitely it's definitely one that's in limbo. It's not exactly a very strong kind of one, the way that you could say in LA is, or St. Petersburg with racing before that. There's no real draw, I guess, to it, and
it's not really. You don't think NASCAR and Chicago in the same sentence,
but you also don't think NASCAR in LA. But I think the difference here is that, you know, it feels like, and we'll talk about this in a bit, you know, no one really in Chicago was asking for this. It seems like the people, like the aldermans in Chicago, weren't exactly kept up with this the way that a lot of the planners in LA were. It feels very just sort of patchwork put together at this point. It's not actually confirmed yet. It hasn't been signed in yet. We're just kind of treating it as it is at the moment. So I have a lot of questions on how NASCAR is going to maximize bringing people in. I'm telling you, if you want to bring sports fans in Chicago in, just market it with Michael Jordan and Mike Ditka, and you'll get old and new fans alike coming.
Yeah, so that kind of is a good point. That's at the end of the day, is this worth it? It's going to be a huge investment for NASCAR. Is it coming at the right time? Because say we do, they're going to get a large crowd. There's going to be a lot of people there that never really pay attention to NASCAR. They're going to see NASCAR for the first time and may even watch some of the race for the first time. So does NASCAR have the infrastructure in place the way Formula One did when Drive to Survive blew up? Obviously, you had Drive to Survive, which is great content on Netflix, but you also had a stronger social media presence, a stronger AAA video game, better broadcast, new ways to watch it. You could stream it. You could pay for their streaming service. Everything was built up to absorb the new eyeballs when they all rush to it. NASCAR right now, I just don't think has that kind of strong infrastructure. So I worry they're going to make this huge heavy duty investment into the Chicago street race, get some new interest for a week. And then when everyone tunes in the next week and sees, I don't know, Pocono on USA Network / Peacock.
Atlanta. It might be Atlanta the next
maybe
week.
They get lucky and it's Atlanta, but you know, say they go to and it's Pocono or New Hampshire. I don't know. I feel like people are going to tune out when they have to sit through a bunch of commercials, or when it's an oval race. It's 300 laps in a circle. I don't know. Obviously, we don't have a video game. We don't have good content on Netflix. We have Austin Dillon's life in the goddamn fast lane. We don't have the infrastructure built up that Formula One did. So that's what worries me. I worry that they're just kind of doing this because they feel like they need to. And I want, not that I'm trying to control NASCAR's pocketbook and budget, but I want them to maximize their investment. I feel like if you're spending all this money on this street race, maybe you could have spent all that money on something a little better that would have made more of a difference in the short term. And then later tackle a Chicago street race or a New York street race or an LA street race or a Dallas street. That's where I come from on this. I worry that it's too much too soon and they're not going to maximize it.
So I have one question for everyone here. So obviously, there's been debate about should NASCAR even have any street course races? In my opinion, having at least one on the schedule certainly couldn't hurt. I think it's very intriguing. But I mean, do you guys think that the whole plan is to have a long-term event just in Chicago, or do you want to kind of make it like the Clash, to where it's like where you can maybe perhaps rotate it throughout?
Well, even right now, the Clash is not being rotated. It's going to be back in LA next year. So I would see NASCAR at this point leaning in more towards keeping it in Chicago year after year after year. They probably, I don't even think they've said anything, but I wouldn't be surprised there isn't already plans for a long-term deal there. When really I think it should be, okay, hey, try it Chicago, then try it in Denver, then try it in New York City.
I think the problem is it's hard to have a long-term deal in a temporary street course, just because, we won't go in too much detail about it, but politics of it. The politicians would change over time, and the things that one politician wants versus another are going to be different. I mean,
remember the Massachusetts, the Boston Grand Prix for Indy?
Oh yeah,
that never happened.
Yeah, and too. Oh, go ahead.
Well, and this year, I mean, Lori Lightfoot, from what it sounds like, is the only one politician-wise who's really spearheading this, and she is not very popular in Chicago right now and up for election this year. So it's like, there should be still questions on whether or not this happens for 1 year, let alone 3 or multiple years.
So if this race gets canceled, what's the game plan?
I'm going to say this.
I know what Jared thinks.
Daytona road course again.
So Darian and I were out in Joliet 3 weeks ago. Chicagoland Speedway is completely kept up and ready. I know a few people that are out in that area that say that they're pushing for it. I think that's the contingency plan at the moment, because Road America is a flat out no at this point, unfortunately.
But yeah, Slap, you mentioned Daytona Road Course. I mean, we literally saw this happen 2021. Auto Club was supposed to be back on the schedule last year. Didn't happen due to COVID protocols messing up the event. So,
yeah, that's like NASCAR's like immediate backup. Like anytime there's a problem, it's like Daytona Road Course.
Daytona Road Course, Darlington.
I'll say this: Daytona Road Course twice had really, really good ratings compared to other road courses. So
because it was the second race of the year, but
the first one wasn't. The first one wasn't.
The first one. Oh, it was in like September or August.
It was in August, and it actually. I keep the numbers on me, so I can actually pull it up.
TV. I shouldn't question your TV ratings numbers. I know you have like a Excel sheet.
The Daytona Road Course in 2020 had 3.2 million viewers, which was more than actually the summer Daytona race that year. Wow. And in 2021, it was the most watched race of the season, even over the 500. Yeah, I know the 500 was pushed back because of rain, but it was the most watched race of 2021. So
that's a fun fact. That's a good trivia question right there.
It's not a bad replacement idea by any means, and I'm actually kind of questioning why it's not a staple, even if it would be 3 races at Daytona, because if it brings in ratings, do you think NASCAR gives a damn about their own rules?
Watch NASCAR pull the ultimate troll job and say, hey, we promised the folks a Chicago street course, so we're going to make a street course at Chicagoland Speedway. Come on, guys.
Race the outer loop. The outer loop, dude. The outer loop.
Yep.
Country road course.
Race around IKEA, because there's an IKEA factory right next door.
Don't crash into that cool water tower. That's all I ask. That thing looks nice.
Oh, yeah.
And the fire station, too.
Go past the Dale Earnhardt firehouse.
There is for those who don't know, there is a Dale Senior firehouse.
But I'll say this about, kind of going back to Road America. I really question, and maybe NASCAR was put into a corner with it and this happened later, but I don't think so. But going and basically not screwing over, but in the eyes of fans, screwing over a track that has 100,000 fans, it's a huge deal in Wisconsin, and replacing it with Chicago is probably the worst possible thing. And if NASCAR didn't do enough due diligence to look into it, is the worst possible cultural way you could say no to Road America being in there to a Wisconsin race fan. Because think about this right now. What's of any city in probably the world, but definitely the Midwest, that Wisconsin natives would hate any of their events being moved to, any big deal for them being moved to, it is Chicago. I mean, you look at Bears-Packers, the longest lasting rivalry in professional sports, it seems like. It's like, Brewers and Cubs. Like that's become a rivalry in recent years. It's like Wisconsin just is not like Chicago, and it's a horrible. I think it's a horrible idea to at least say that. Oh well, yeah, Road America is not coming back because of this. Wisconsin, there's so many more ways you could spin it.
Wisconsin.
It also tells people that attendance doesn't matter. You can show up.
Yeah.
Have 100,000 people show up. It doesn't matter.
Those 2 Cup Series races, combined, averaged well over 100,000 people, I think. And NASCAR is basically telling them hey, you guys basically don't matter. I got one comment on Twitter too, and this basically summarized it for me. When I said when I tweeted yesterday that Road America deserved better, one of the comments was, wow, this really hurts. Now I know how fans of North Wilkesboro felt in '96. I'm like, whoa.
That's how Cody and I were
talking.
But then the last part really kind of shocked me. He's like, I will never watch NASCAR again. I don't know if he's trolling or not, but I mean, I can understand him feeling some type of way.
Darian and I made it a point to talk to as many people as possible at Road America about Chicago possibly taking their race. And there were a lot of people who were like, I don't know if I could even watch NASCAR on that date knowing it's ours. And I'm like,
and knowing that Chicago takes it. Yeah, a rival city takes it over.
I get knowing. So I've seen a lot of people saying that, I don't know, NASCAR screwed over Road America in a big way. And I guess to me, Road America got 2 just awesome weekends or years in a row. They took Daytona's date. That's not their date. That was Daytona's date.
After Indy had it. Yeah.
For a year. Yeah.
For a year.
They floated it around a little bit.
Yeah. They took Daytona's date, a holiday weekend, drew an amazing crowds. It was on Big NBC last year, I believe, right? I don't think it was this year. They put it on national on the biggest network possible. Yeah, it sucks to lose it. And I'm not here to tell people how they're supposed to feel. If they feel miffed, that's obviously they're entitled to that opinion. I completely understand it. And I understand the rivalry between Wisconsin and Chicago. Moving it to Chicago is a serious thing. I understand that irritating people and upsetting people, but I guess what else could NASCAR do? What other race would they have removed from the schedule? They can't touch an SMI date. They're just not allowed to. So that Texas off the list.
I was about to say Richmond. Yeah.
Richmond, but everyone wants short tracks. I don't know. You piss off. That's the South. That's NASCAR's bread.
They don't deserve two races. Though.
I'm going to bring this point up. Richmond has routinely been the least watched race of the season for about 6 or 7 years now. It's the only race that on its scheduled time gets less than 2 million viewers outside of Road America.
So my only other counter to that is both Richmond races are spring and fall. So you'd have to move a Richmond race move another race to the summer. Wait, what?
Richmond is in August now.
They moved it up to August? Oh, they did move it up. I see. That's going to be toasty. I don't know. They still would have had to move things around. And it just wouldn't line up. It lines up so perfectly. July 4th, Chicago, and Road America being an independently owned track that doesn't have a long-term contract with NASCAR. It just lines up. There was no other option. Is what I said. There was no other option that was likely. Indianapolis. It was like Road America or Indianapolis, because they also didn't want to add another. That was the other thing. They don't want to drop an oval for another road course. I think NASCAR said themselves they feel like 5 or whatever 6 road courses now is borderline too many. So, well, it's tough.
I mean, I know that a lot of people around Indianapolis want the Brickyard 400 back instead of the road course. Mm-hmm. The ratings and the attendance both really are big in pushing this. My question is just there's a very what happens if this doesn't happen? Because there's a very real chance it could get shot down, especially if there's a new mayor who's not behind it going into next year.
If it doesn't happen, this also hurts NASCAR's credibility if they want to go back to other cities to try to do something like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It would be honestly, that would be a very NASCAR thing to happen, where it's you announce a race in a major city and then it just gets canceled.
So the way that Chicago's kind of split up is there's I think 50 aldermans that have different sections of the city. And they have a council that votes on a lot of things, and the aldermans have a lot of power. We talked, the 4 of us hosts talked about this before the show, and the aldermans that are going to be most affected by this are against this. And there's this push and pull going on where, and I think one of the groups or parties is lying about it. Lori Lightfoot is basically saying she kept everything out in the open, which I have to say I do agree. I mean, it's been public knowledge since 2020 that they've wanted this. Yeah. But the aldermen have also said that they were told by NASCAR that Lightfoot told them not to talk to them, to the aldermen, that is. So there's a lot of dirty games being played here. And I have a feeling that if a new mayor comes in, they're going to want to wash their hands of this. This isn't their problem. This isn't their project. So I think it's a very real question, and I hope NASCAR has a clear-cut plan in mind of what happens if this doesn't happen in 23 or happen at all. And
maybe they do. We do gotta give NASCAR some credit. They probably have prepared for this a little bit.
Yeah, they probably do. It's a question mark.
It's interesting that there was that report a week ago that said, there was a report a month ago that said, hey, NASCAR Chicago is ramping up. It's going to happen. And then there was a report a week ago that said, oh, not so fast. There was a hang up. I didn't read the full article, but it was what you're talking about. These aldermen, there was that one tweet that one guy put out. What was it, Jared? It was dumb. It was arguing that a street race would encourage actual street racing, criminal street racing.
That was up there with the Nashville Fairgrounds comments.
So, you had all that about a week ago. So the timing of this announcement is interesting just from that perspective, how it was yes. Oh, wait a second. Oh, no, it's actually happening. Is it? We'll wait and see, I suppose.
From what it looks like, it feels like Lightfoot's using this to try and get a re-election at this point. So I feel like it
shows us that there is some pushback. There's significant pushback.
In the chat, Cito Brown said, "No politics. Ordinarily we do, but we agree with that. But in this case, it's one of the things we actually have to look at."
Yeah, you have to look at it because these are the people that are making the
private. This isn't private property where there's a race going on. This is public property.
They're making the final
politics
decisions with whether this happens or not. So we have to talk about
Trust me, I don't want to talk about the mayor of Chicago any more than anybody else does. But this is the hand we've been dealt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think come mid-November we'll know a lot more on whether or not this for sure is happening, because that's the thing about like living in Illinois is Chicago affects everything in Illinois. It is the big moneymaker. It is, to put it in racing terms, Chicago to Illinois is the Indy 500 to IndyCar. it dictates everything. So
name one other city in Illinois.
Glockford, but that's only because I lived there.
Wasn't Lincoln from Springfield?
Because it's the capital.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's Lincoln from? Is that where he's from?
Well, I if I'm not mistaken, he was initially from another state and then moved to Illinois when it used to be good.
They called it the land of Lincoln, and he wasn't even born there.
Born in a log cabin in the state of Illinois.
Wasn't he?
Right?
Yeah.
Where the hell was Abraham Lincoln?
What I was taught in middle school is a lie?
Where was Abraham Lincoln born?
Yeah, you can look it up. I know when I was in school, they said he moved there, but there's only been two good things that have come out of Illinois in the last 100 years: the sock monkey and Cheap Trick.
He was born in LaRue County, Kentucky. What the fuck?
See, even the best thing from Illinois isn't from Illinois.
This is my whole life is lied. Why do they call it the land of Lincoln?
Illinois does have Metropolis, the quote hometown of Superman. So
don't go to.
Oh
Metropolis.
yeah, we drove by there. Oh yeah,
Metropolis is not much. Stay in Paducah in Kentucky. There's a lot more stuff to do in Paducah than there is in
Don't go
Metropolis.
to Illinois.
Gotham is filmed there.
Just don't go to Illinois.
No, don't do it.
Yeah,
But they spent so much money to sponsor the Gateway race. You got to enjoy Illinois.
Everything good from Illinois leaves Illinois.
Oh gosh.
Hey, one thing I want to say about Road America losing its date and like Wisconsinites being pissed off that Chicago got the date instead of them. That actually happened in the NFL when the Houston Oilers became the Tennessee Oilers and they moved to Memphis. They played in the Liberty Bowl for the first few years. And the rumor was that was going to be the Memphis Oilers. And then it became the Tennessee Titans, which moved to Nashville. And to this day, there's an awful lot of people in Memphis who do not like the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Memphis is literally that city in Tennessee that we forget about and oftentimes don't claim.
Whoa, Daddy,
but that right there, that's how Wisconsin thinks, and at this point, it's pretty true how Chicago feels about Wisconsin.
I know
Danny
more
just
people.
Supported your claim better than anything I've ever seen, Jared.
This is obviously the person from Nashville over here.
I know more people from Mississippi that claim Memphis than Tennessee people. So,
well, and I want kind of getting back real quick though, like the Midwest. NASCAR hasn't exactly had a good standing so far in the Midwest in about the last 15 years, if you think about it. Like, if you look at the biggest place for auto racing in the Midwest is Indianapolis. Well, cross that one off after 2008. That one really peeved off a lot of people that live in Indy, and they hold grudges a long time. Now you look at the stuff with Illinois. Yeah, you got St. Louis, but the Illinois side. But that's basically St. Louis is what you're marketing to. So it's not really Illinois. You left Chicagoland Speedway. You're going to Chicago Street Course, which,
Iowa.
You left Iowa. Now you're leaving Wisconsin. What do you have left? Okay, Missouri and Kansas. Yeah, you got the Kansas Speedway. Michigan. I mean, Michigan's already lost a date. And then we have, there's nothing in Ohio, but we have nothing in Ohio.
We dropped Eldora. Well,
Cleveland,
Tony Stewart dropped Eldora.
Right.
Yeah, Tony Stewart dropped Eldora.
We go airport racing, but I don't know if that's a long-standing thing either. It's like the Midwest is such a huge place for racing, and it is being so deserved and giving so much less than it deserves.
Yeah, there's so many dirt tracks and so many short tracks up there, and the routes they run deep, and we just keep fucking them over.
Dick Trickle's from there.
Matt Kenseth, Alan Kowicki.
Get hard for Menard. Like, there's so much racing history and such a rich racing culture in the Midwest.
Hell,
and
Ryan
NASCAR
Newman, Tony Stewart.
NASCAR can't figure out how to get this right, and it's like this is such a huge market you're missing out on.
Just take a page out of cart IndyCar from the mid '90s. You know, Mid Ohio, Cleveland. You know, try to like revamp Indy or at least go to IRP or something. You know, try to just, you know, because people there care about racing. We went to a Plymouth dirt track, which is like 10 minutes outside of Road America. That place was packed out. There wasn't a place to sit down. We had to like stand up next to the fence and get dirt clods in my face all night. It was good people there. They care about racing.
Well, hell, I mean, where I used to live in Machesney Park, they had the Rockford Speedway. Like 5,000 to 10,000 people pack into there every single weekend for short track racing. Like it might not be a huge base compared to the Southeast, but it's still a really big base. And it's a base that IndyCar is too small, I think, to capitalize on right now. F1, aside from Chicago, if they can get their stuff together, F1's not going to go anywhere in the Midwest.
Yeah, they're going to the coast.
That would be a major. That would be awesome if that happened.
It's an entire region that NASCAR can capitalize on for racing, you know, on a professional level, not giving enough attention, and they keep finding ways to clutch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna go to the street race next year.
After all that, he's like, "Oh my god."
Well, if it happens.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I won't book my flights just yet, but
just wait until it's official.
I will be at home and I will watch all the NASCAR people's posts about deep dish pizza while they're out there.
See, honestly, that's as important as a pit pass.
Deep dish pizza is not a pizza; it's a casserole.
Oh my god, Danny, kick him out of the call. What the?
I thought it was overpriced and overrated. So
what the?
Dude, it was. I went to the Chicago airport.
I had
deep dish pizza like this size.
Airport pizza.
I had honestly, that was the most expensive pizza I've ever had. It was $30 for the pizza alone. Then I had to pay $30 for parking. It was a $60 pizza.
Okay, I'm not responsible for the parking.
No. New York has dollar slice cheese pizza.
I'm not that
conversation.
It's
really
the value.
Good. It gives you this big ass slice for $1, and you get to fold it and all that.
I get the value. It's the same thing with Martinsville hot dogs. They're okay. They taste okay, but they're $2 at a sporting event. Hard to beat that. New York pizza, it's good. It's $1. It's good in a pinch. But if you want to sit down and have the truest, purest, most blissful pizza eating experience,
you're going to
plop $20 down.
It's a casserole in a fucking
pizza weekly.
I think honestly, if I want some deep dish pizza, I'd rather just have the Detroit style.
Oh,
yes. Detroit pizza's good. Detroit pizza's good.
Detroit in general sucks. Don't go.
The pizza's good.
Okay, but
it is good. But it's not Chicago.
But Jared is the same one who, when we were trying to get everyone on board to have Pizza Hut deep dish pizza, he was the one who just doesn't like deep dish. So that's just him.
I didn't say anything about deep dish. I'm on a diet.
Pizza Hut deep dish pizza? That's not deep dish.
That's not deep dish pizza.
No, Little Caesars had Detroit deep dish pizza for a while. It's good.
Anyway, so hopefully
it's only $8 too. $8.
Little Caesars gets too much hate. That's fair.
Jets though, they have some good Detroit style.
So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the Pizza Weekly podcast.
Yeah.
I'm furious right now.
EWP.
But yeah, no, in all seriousness, we'll see if the Chicago Street Tours happens.
Join us next week for Pizza Weekly podcast when we discuss pineapples on pizza. Okay.
All right. So what's next?
Silly season
news. Slap, feel free to stay with us, or you can head out. Whatever you want to do, man.
I'll head out because silly season used to be from like August till the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Now it's like the entire year they keep announcing stuff. And I tune it out.
We've already got like 2 years worth of silly season news already with us. So.
Yeah, there's people like announcing stuff 2 years from now. Like I don't keep up with that crap. So I'm gonna see myself out. Y'all have fun. Y'all continue liking your deep dish casserole, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell Barbara you said
proudly.
Hey.
Yeah, take it easy, bro.
Tell Barbara she owes me. She owes me money for Road America.
Slap. Thanks for coming on, bro. Take it easy, and hopefully Keselowski.
Anytime I have a chance to simp for Road America, I'm gonna take it.
Hopefully Keselowski turns it around. By the way,
peace be upon ye.
Slap,
and you too.
Thanks for coming in and joining us, Slap Shoes.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thanks, dude. Dude, I wasn't gonna tell him this, but I actually had thin crust pizza for lunch today. It's good. It's all good.
Depends on who makes it. Yeah. But I've had it before. It's good.
Yeah,
all right. So silly season stuff. What's going on with that? What's happening?
Kyle Busch, where's he going?
I don't know. Just tell me. Where's
back to the drawing board.
He's going down the road to get some deep dish pizza.
Hey,
maybe we need to ask the chat.
Hey, he might just drive for himself and Xfinity. Nah, he ain't gonna go down. He'll find an opportunity, but I don't know.
So yeah, the news with Kyle Busch is he's admitted in the last week that he's talked to teams besides Joe Gibbs Racing about next year. He's put some feelers out, but he still feels as though he has a seat in the 18 as long as they haven't announced someone else to that seat. So they're still trying to work out something at Joe Gibbs Racing. But David Wilson from Toyota Racing Development said yesterday, I believe, that they're working on contingency plans in case they can't get a deal done for Kyle Busch, and said, quite frankly, we are in a bad place right now when trying to work out Kyle Busch's 2023 contract situation. So
said that publicly too. Dang.
I think certainly you got to feel like of all the teams, JGR is the most likely option. He still wants to be there. They just have to meet his price. They need to find a sponsor that meets his salary demands. And I posed a question on my video today, and this is just like a thought experiment. I don't know if I even fully buy this, but what if Kyle Busch just decided to accept less money? What if he just said, I don't know if this would even make a difference. What if he just said, you know what? Sure, I'll take a 30% pay reduction next year. Would they be able to find a sponsor then? Would it work out? Would everything be fine? I don't even know. But we look at Kyle Busch the last few years, and we talked about this earlier. He was the champion in 2019. But in the past 2.5 years, he has not looked like himself. He only has 4 wins. He hasn't been to the championship 4. He's spinning out twice on his own at New Hampshire. Like, this just isn't Kyle Busch. He should be in his prime, but the stats say otherwise. So considering that, and considering the fact that there is a Ty Gibbs borderline Cup Series ready, like, does Kyle Busch have as much leverage as maybe he thinks he does? Like, would it make his whole situation easier if he just said, hey, I'll take less money if the alternative is I have no ride whatsoever? Like, there's not really a question in there. It is just kind of a topic. Like, how do you guys feel about that? I'm
scared that he might make that decision when it's too late and JGR's already got the next plan.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to, if he's able to work out a deal where it's like, hey, like, I just want to stay in a very competitive Joe Gibbs Racing seat for next year or maybe a couple of years, yeah, then sure. If he's willing to take more money, sure. Yeah, it'll hurt you in the checkbook and stuff. But long term, if you feel like, hey, I'm not going to get a much better opportunity out racing, then yeah, totally take a pay cut.
Will England in the chat saying this, like, Kyle is probably worth 30% less than he was in 2019. I agree, especially with Ty Gibbs, a cheaper option.
I agree.
I'm just saying. I know that's not how things work, but
he took forever to win in 2020. He didn't win too much in 2021, and then this year's win was luck.
Yeah, sorry, I cut you off, Jarrett. Where were you going?
Well, it feels like these are still games being played with the media being used as a tool. Basically, it's Kyle Busch comes out to start with and starts saying all these things. Toyota kind of keeps it to themselves for a bit. Now Toyota's coming out and they're giving their end of the deal. Poor Joe Gibbs is in the middle being like, everything is fine, don't worry, as the building blows up behind him. I'll be real though, like I've been staunchly that Kyle Busch is coming back, but as we get to the end of July now, we get into August, the latest that I've really seen any major deal with a big race team be put together would be, you could say 2311 in September, and that's just starting a team and everything when they announced all that. That was September of 2020. So I have to think that if they can't get it done before the playoffs, I feel like Joe Gibbs is going to want to try and move on as quick as he can so it doesn't distract from the team. Because you have to think this, yes, this is definitely something that Kyle Busch is definitely distracted by, but you have to think that the further this gets and the uglier and the more public it gets, this is going to go through the entire team. This isn't just going to be for the 18 team alone to deal with. Like, you're going to probably have teammates like Bell and Truex and Hamlin being asked. You're going to have, a lot of different rumors popping up left and right that don't even, probably don't have anything substantial behind them. I feel like this is something that has the possibility to completely blow up JGR's season in general.
Yeah, I agree that it could trickle beyond Kyle Busch, although I do think it's mostly going to be localized on Kyle Busch. It is a distraction.
Yeah, it's going to distract the whole team, I think.
Potentially. I think 6-8 weeks ago, I think most of us on this panel were talking about Kyle Busch as one of the championship 4 favorites, like not the favorite maybe to win the title, but I think most of us had him at this point. I don't even think Elliott had 2 wins yet. Chastain maybe didn't have his second win yet. We were like, okay, Kyle Busch is in the mix for the championship this year. He's kind of fallen to like maybe 5th, 6th, 8th place now on our list. And with these distractions, I only imagine he's going to slip further and further and further. So there's a lot going on for the immediate future and the long-term future. If they don't get a deal done, obviously, like, where does Kyle Busch go? If he doesn't land with Gibbs next year, does he retire? Does he drive for himself, just like in trucks, just screw around like a little retirement tour? Or does he go to another team? To me, the only team that could come close to paying him what he would get at JGR is Stewart Haas Racing in that 10 car. But now we hear rumors that Eric Almirola might stay in the 10 for another year.
Or this is another scenario too, and this has happened in other motorsports, IndyCar, F1. He takes a what do they call it? A sabbatical. So just a year off.
Goes on a walk around.
Takes one season off, but is still filtering out offers until he gets what he feels is a great offer.
I've said for a while I would love to see Kyle Busch just take a year and run a full truck schedule. To try
maybe this is that year.
To try to win a championship in all 3 series, and this could easily be that year where it happens. And granted, I know things blew up like a nuke went off when he left Hendrick, but the 48 could be open at the end of next year.
Full sponsorship too.
Yeah,
the 4 could be open. The 10 could be open. The 48 could be open. Right now, I think even the 5 could be open. I don't think he's technically got a contract yet, so he probably will.
I don't think they're getting rid of him unless he has another 2021.
If a ride opens at HMS,
2020, I should say.
If a ride opens up at HMS, it's likely to 48. So,
I'm just saying, Kyle Busch, we thought he'd have a sponsor by now, and he's
it's definitely starting to get to the point where because I think all of us. I mean. Let me look at the poll right now. 64% still say JGR, but that number was like in the 80s and 90s when we asked this stuff a month ago.
Yeah,
and
it seems like they're certain for the most part, but now they're not as certain compared to a couple.
No, I mean I'm like 55-45 at this point. Like I still lean towards he'll go back, but that's just because, man, the last time I saw Kyle Busch consistently not in a car that was the 18 car at JGR. I was 9. Like it's been that long. I can't think of NASCAR now without Kyle Busch in the 18 car. But a whole lot of good that'll do. Like we've seen other crazy moves in the past few years. We've heard other rumors and different things drivers have said, like Denny Hamlin talking about, well, if FedEx leaves, I might have to drive for my own team kind of thing. There's been so many things that have went against the grain of what we're used to that I don't think I can really lean on that anymore the way I thought I could a month, 2 months, especially 3 months ago.
My favorite rumor it's unfounded, baseless, but I like the way it sounds for the pure chaos of it is Tyler Reddick gets bought out or gets dropped. RCR drops the option. And so Joe Gibbs Racing scoops up, well, that's more phrase, Toyota scoops up Tyler Reddick a year early, puts him in the 18 car, and then has a gap year, and then he goes 23-11 the next year. I love that idea because it frees up Kyle Busch to potentially drive the 8.
Yes. I said that last week.
Potentially.
No. Even better, Kyle Busch drives the 3 for one season.
No, that's wrong.
Why would they do that?
That's so wrong. That wouldn't be right. It wouldn't
potentially.
Be
right. Okay, fine. Just give him the 33 so he can be double the 3. So
he's twice the man Dale was.
Wow. I can't wait till this hits Facebook.
That's funny.
Yeah. Crop that part out with out of context.
No, but
we're just children. Leave us alone, guys.
I'm with 63% of the chat at the moment. I think that he'll be at JGR, but if not, like a lot of these rides could start filling up. Like if they can't get it worked out. So if he has, he doesn't have all the eggs in JGR's basket right now, but it's damn close.
We're about to hit August. Usually deals are done behind closed doors around this time. So it's like, y'all better hurry. I mean, if y'all can get something done, like, dude, like Kyle, like if you want to stay, bro, like, hey, take less money, dude. Like, do whatever it takes to stay in the ride, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
I'm trying
some other big news.
I'm trying to look something up to know something. I'll tell you guys as soon as I find it, but if you want to move on.
Well, I mean, Ty Dillon is out at Petty GMS now, so the 42 is open now.
Yeah, and then he falls out, and what does he do in the following race after that? He wrecks.
The wreck wasn't all his fault.
I know.
But yeah, no, bad stretch here for Ty Dillon. It sounds like, according to Adam Stern, Noah Gregson's among the drivers that they're looking at among the front runners to land that seat. So I thought that was a little interesting. I'm also curious that they haven't yet re-signed Eric Jones, even though it sounds like both sides want to make that happen. I'm just surprised a new team, because effectively this is GMS. Petty's there. There's some existing players already, but this is effectively a first-year team. I'm just surprised they're already making major changes like this less than a year into their first season. I would have figured, you picked Ty Dillon not because you thought he was going to put you in the playoffs. You picked Ty Dillon to maybe give you some stability the first year or two. And now you're blowing everything up, throwing that stability out the window. Like, did you expect Ty Dillon to be top 20 in points? Nobody did. So
maybe this is a new approach to some of these teams.
They're pivoting really
more aggressive moves, I guess.
I guess, but it's just such a sudden pivot that it was a little surprising to me.
So what I was looking for, I just want to point this out. Jimmy Johnson did not announce Ally would be coming to him until late October 2018. So just keep that in mind.
And that was out of the norm, though. Like, I remember at the time we're all like, "What's happening now?" And like we had like some of these sort of freakouts on the show.
Oh yeah, season 1.
Yeah, that time we all just broke down, all started crying. Danny had to console us. Do you guys remember that episode? Did that one air? Did we delete that? We may not have aired that episode. That's a lost tape.
It must have been lost in history. I guess.
Might have been one of the ones we deleted with Sunbird.
I don't remember the crying though.
Yeah.
No, you had to talk us off the ledge. It was pretty devastating. But anyway, back to reality here.
Eric Almirola coming back?
It may be. It may be. Hey.
Could.
The way I see the Almirola thing, I said this in our group chat last week. I think what this likely is, SHR could put Ryan Preece in there, but I think they'd rather have Ryan Preece replace Harvick when he ultimately retires. I don't think they want to rush Preece into the 10 and then just have to pull him out of 10 and put him in the 4.
I think it's just that 10 is funded by Smithfield, and Smithfield will not stick with Ryan Preece or anybody. They're going to stick with Eric Almirola probably exclusively. So if Almirola goes, that 10 car now is as unsponsored as the 18. Now they're looking for major sponsorship to try and replace Smithfield. So I think it's Smithfield and SHR trying to lure Almirola back, who said he doesn't want to quit racing. He just maybe wants to quit doing it full time. So, I don't know.
Hey, he did the same deal with Mark Martin when Mark Martin was trying to retire.
I remember that.
Maybe they could have a deal where we see Riley Herbst or someone like that, or Ryan Preece run part-time with a 10 if they can't find a better option.
Oh, how the turntables have turned.
Tables.
Well, and then really quick, there's another rumor that I saw from Door Bumper Clear. They put out that there's an Xfinity car team, the 3-car team, where they might actually downsize or go part-time with one of them due to low funding and make that car an all-star car. And immediately I just think colleague.
Yeah, because they're doing that for the Cup. One of their teams right now.
Or I think it's between Colleague or Our Motorsports, who's another 3-car team who has kind of struggled this year, even by their kind of average standards,
mediocre standards. Yeah.
Not entirely sure. We talked about Landon Castle earlier, but it sounds like reports suggested that deal is rock solid at least through this year. So maybe not him.
It just depends on what happens with Voyager, because they're in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. That Chapter 11 doesn't mean it's done. It means that they're trying to restructure for a chance to bounce back. But part of that deal could be saying, let's get out of our NASCAR sponsorship.
Yeah, so let's save some money here and there.
And I did see the Door Bumper Clear rumor thing, and I maybe it was hard to interpret. It might have been like 2 separate things. Like there's a 3-car team that might have a guy going part-time, and then it might have been like completely unrelated. Another team might have to restructure sponsor. I was a little unclear by how they described it, so I'm not entirely sure.
I think they stay intentionally vague with it too.
They do that a lot.
As Peter Strata said in the chat, Voyager paid for the season up front. Yeah, I'm not worried about this year at all, but it's next year I'm worried about.
Yeah, so I don't think Castle's the one going part-time this year, like all of a sudden.
It might be next year.
Yeah, but I do see Colleague as that team. They're not going to say the name of the team right now, but I believe it's Colleague.
I think it'll be Hour. That's my guess.
Hour's crashed a lot of race cars.
That's what I mean, and I don't know. I just that team. I loved it when they announced it because I thought Moffitt, his leadership would be great, but then I remembered it's Brett Moffitt, and he's bristly as all hell. Like he's not really. I don't think of him as a leader. I should have thought of that.
When I think of Brett Moffitt, I don't think of him staying long term of ride. So
I just think of him burning bridges with teams.
He just bounces around. Yeah, he bounces around everywhere.
So that's why I'm not a huge. I don't know about that one, but I love Anthony Alfredo. Yeah. Even Jeb's had some moments. When we'll see.
Yeah, when he's not threatening Gregson on the track and stuff. He has his moments. Or
pile driving into Ryan Sieg on the backstretch at New Hampshire.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that did happen too. Yeah, that was a crazy wreck. Yeah.
But let's talk about one last thing, and I realize we are going into overtime big time tonight. But Parker Kligerman. He's looking at options after his Truck Series win, possibly looking at some Cup and Xfinity rides. There for a little bit he was being seen of Gaunt Brothers Racing, who kind of disappeared off the face of the earth this year.
Kligerman to the 18.
Would he still be able to do his NBC weekly rants? If he were driving full time. No, if I had to think with Kligerman, I mean, especially if Voyager isn't up for the task of sponsoring next year, maybe Colleague. I mean, it would be a similar kind of opportunity for a driver who hasn't really got a fair shake on a lot of the fans' eyes so far. So maybe Colleague is an option there.
See, the last time Kligerman ran full time in Xfinity, he was driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports, and this was like back in like 2013.
That was the 77, right?
That was the 77. Wow. Yeah, so it's been a while. It's been a while since he's ran full time in Xfinity, but for trucks, I could totally see a full time opportunity develop with the 75 team if they're able to get full time funding. I mean, he's been fairly competitive in lesser equipment over the years, specifically with that team. They seem to bring the best out of each other, so I would love to see them on a full time, see what they can accomplish.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll do it for all the other news. It's time to preview this weekend's race. We're heading up to the hills and mountains and woods of Pocono. The Truck Series will be the CRC Brackleen 150. This is a 60-lap event. Start time set for noon Eastern time on Fox. Fox will actually have this big Fox, it looks like.
Yeah, big Fox.
And MRN has the radio coverage of this. For the weather, it'll be 87 degrees, mostly sunny and very warm, with only a 5% chance of rain. The defending winner of this race is John Hunter Nemechek. The Xfinity Series will also be there at Pocono the same day in the Explore the Pocono Mountains 225. Is there much of exploring there? 90 laps at this one, 5 o'clock p.m. 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time start for this one with coverage on USA and MRN. Again, 87 degrees, mostly sunny and very warm. The defending winner of this race is Austin Cindric, who of course will not be in this race. Then the Cup Series race will be the M&M's Fan Appreciation 400. This is a race we talked about this a few weeks ago, where they'll have a special fan of M&M's and Kyle Busch out there, so that'll be pretty cool. 160 laps in this one. And the start time for this one is 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time with coverage on USA and MRN. As far as the weather goes, we'll have a 90-degree high with afternoon thunderstorms, a 40% chance of rain. Starting at 3 Eastern time, so, never know what'll happen. The co-defending winners of this race is Alex Bowman and Kyle Busch. And Darian, on that same note, how are those two defending winners looking in their odds for this weekend?
Hold on, Eric looks really confused. Eric, we ran 2 races there last week.
Yeah, but Kyle Busch won the most recent one. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I've just never heard co-winners. I was like
hours.
I was like,
I mean, they're the same weekend, so I'll give it to them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, the same weekend. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, I just thought Eric's reaction was funny.
I just the word like co-winners. I was like, I knew what you were trying to say, but I was just like, that's just such an odd.
Like, this isn't IMSA. This isn't IMSA.
Kyle Busch and Alex Bowman up there with the same trophy. We did it.
That's what I was picturing.
Together.
It was not
we both backed into this victory. Anyways, let's move on to the betting odds on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. This weekend, Kyle Busch enters this weekend as the favorite at plus 700. Kyle Larson plus 800, tied with both Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott. And at plus 1,000 is Ryan Blaney. For the best of the rest, all these three drivers are also tied for plus 1,000 to win this weekend. Martin Truex Jr., Ross Chastain, and Kevin Harvick. And then at plus 1,200 is William Byron, and then 1,500 is Joey Logano. As for the underdog segment, Brad Keselowski is plus 4,000, tied with Eric Almirola. Plus 5,000 is Austin Cindric. And at plus 10,000 apiece is both Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Eric Jones. You never know what happens.
If you want one of those underdogs, keep an eye out for like a top 10, top 5. Don't count out Brad Keselowski. His stats here, albeit he's with RFK now, but his stats here are really good.
Exactly. And then really quick, let's go over the overall standings for the NASCAR Weekly Podcast Fantasy League. Trevor Sports 98 takes the points lead back. He is currently just over 10 points, or excuse me, actually, no. Is he? Actually, yeah. He's just about 10 points ahead of Toyota Tough in P2. In third place is 24 for Life. Fourth is Jets 48. And rounding out the top 5, just 1 point over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is RPG Racing 2. So thank y'all for playing this year.
And then as far as the NWP pick points go, Eric had a great weekend, swept it, and he now has 379 points. The chat is in second, minus 34. Darian is in third, minus 64. Jarrett, I rejoined you in the basement. Jarrett is minus 98, and I am minus 99. We're both sitting on the basement, chilling out together on the couch.
I am falling back.
You
guys. I'm a step up.
Darian, you just parked your car in the garage. You're coming into the basement with us.
Yeah, well, let's see if this week if I can unpark the car out of the garage. We'll see. But
this week we have 3 races and the SRX, so there's a lot of points on the
opportunity. Chat.
But damn. But Eric really swept the weekend, and that sucks for us because now
we got the bonus points for the SRX win.
So, yeah, we got some ground to make up. But hey, let's
I
get
had
right
that race
into
circled. I had New Hampshire circled all year. I knew I was picking Bell in January.
So did I.
Yeah, so at least I'm happy we got that one right. But Pocono this weekend, a completely different animal. We're starting with the trucks pick, I believe, correctly. We're going in chronological order.
Yes, sir.
I'll go nice and simple. I'll go Zane Smith. I just feel like he's had the most consistent speed of anyone in trucks this year. I know Nemechek won this race last year, I think you said, Danny, but going with Ford. Built Ford tough.
Ford tough. I'm going to go with last year's defending winner, John Hunter Nemechek, to win this weekend.
Pocono for the trucks and Xfinity especially has been a place where the fastest guy all year, the guy with the most wins usually, gets the victory. So I'm going Zane Smith as well.
And I'm going to go bold and say Carson Hocevar finally gets it done this weekend.
I like it. Wow, nobody picked Ryan Preece or who's in the 7? Austin Hill?
Austin Hill, yeah.
Well, the chat looks like they're going with John Hunter.
Yeah.
You see a lot of John Hunters.
There's a lot of fours. I see.
Yeah, they're going John Hunter.
Yeah.
I agree.
Give him John.
All right. John it is.
Johnny boy.
Xfinity
at Pocono. Again, kind of like you just said, Jarrett. I just feel like guys who've been strong all year long probably going to be stronger at Pocono. So I'm going to go Ty Gibbs.
Okay. I mean, the junior motorsports cars have been pretty strong all year. Everywhere, it seems like. I'm going to go, no. I'm going to stick with Noah Gregson here. I think Gregson will get it done. I was about to go with Zane Smith for a second. Or no, not Zane Smith. Excuse me. Sam Mayer for a second. But then I was like, nah, you know what? No. I'll hold off on that for now. Noah Gregson.
Dude, Eric, we're getting shades of last year except flipping us in the points a little bit because I'm going Ty Gibbs as well. It's the best guy this year.
Yeah.
It sucks being this low. It sucks.
Yeah, and I'm also following along with the Ty Gibbs train on this one.
Choo-choo.
There's a lot of all-guyers in the chat.
Yeah, I'm seeing a ton of 7.
But there's also Gibbs and Gregsons. There's a good mix.
Those are spread out. I think the 7s look pretty prominent.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot more 7.
I think you definitely lean 7. Some berries as well, but I think it's probably all-guyer.
Give him the 7.
All right. Fair enough.
All right, time for the SRX race.
All right, so this is my one. I get one moonshot of the week. I padded my points lead a little bit last week, so I can take a shot in the dark. This is the last SRX race, and this may also be the last time for, I don't know, ever, the foreseeable future, I get to pull for my boy Matt Kenseth. So it may be a dirt track. I didn't get to watch much of last week's race. I know he wrecked towards the end, but I'm going to go Matt Kenseth. He's going to break up the battle of the Blaney's and win it this weekend.
Yeah, speaking of Blaney's, just the Blaney's are historically amazing on dirt, specifically the oldest one. So I'm going to go with Dave Blaney to win this weekend.
I don't know. Last year proved the young ones always seem to win more. Look at Chase and Bill. I'm going Ryan Blaney.
People don't notice he actually does have a little bit of a dirt background in him, and he did fairly well. He's going undefeated in SRX, Chase Elliott.
And the chat.
I think some of the chat, they're like, oh, wait, SRX is still on? Did they get over a million views yet? Oh, they did? Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
I'm seeing a lot of Ryan Blaney. People, and you can't just say Blaney because you got to specify which one.
Yeah, a lot of Blaney's. Just
it's a lot Blaney's. It's a lot
it's Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, it's Ryan Blaney. Yeah, they're going to give it Ryan.
Yeah, don't just say Blaney. That can mean Dave too. But
All right, now we're at the Cup race, baby. Let's
right.
go.
Who's going to suck?
Who's going to suck?
You know, I'm looking at my notes. I wrote this guy's name down, but I honestly don't remember why. I guess because he just spun out twice at New Hampshire. He's kind of got a lot of distractions. But this is the M&M's Fan Appreciation 4. I can't imagine he's going to do that bad, but I wrote it down to Kyle Busch. We'll say Kyle.
Okay. I have a Joe Gibbs car sucking, but it's not Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin has been absolutely inconsistent this year. I know it's Pocono, and then he's had a lot of success here over the years, but it just hasn't been. Go ahead.
It's lagged out. I'm gonna go with Cole Custer. I don't need to say anything other than that.
Had him last week. I know he won here last year, but it's all luck. Bowman's sucking this summer, so he's gonna suck again.
Every freaking week he picks him to suck or to win. There's all or nothing with Alex Bowman.
Alex Bowman would have 18 wins and 18 DNFs if we went off Danny's.
Okay. I picked him to suck way more this year than I have win. I know that.
Yeah.
And who's the chat picked?
I think they're going Custer.
Again. Oh, God. Just give him Custer, bro.
Dude, picking Custer to suck is the podcast version of a layup.
It is. It's not even worth anything.
I like how we're all fighting about, okay, who's going to come into SHR first? Are they going to take over the 10 or the 4? Meanwhile, the 41's like, hey, I'm trying my best back here. Oh, you're there? Forgot about you.
You're fine.
Forgot you were here.
That's part of the Rick Ware alliance. They just keep that hush-hush. Okay, so next up, Dark Horse, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep. One of y'all mentioned him earlier, and I was hoping you weren't just going to spoil my dark horse pick, but Brad Keselowski coming off a top 10. I feel good about this week.
Hey, look, he's coming off of a top 5 run. Hey, he's starting to improve at some of these racetracks. He's still inconsistent. I don't really see him as a playoff threat. But last year he got a top 5 at this very same track. So Bubba Wallace, let's see if he can repeat it for the second week in a row.
Ditto.
Yeah, I'm also with Eric. The Brad Keselowski, his stats are really good here and ran pretty well last week. I think he can get a top. I think he can get a top 5. Actually, he might even be a dark horse to win it. But
there's a lot of Bubbas in the chat. It's definitely a plurality, but there's 23s, 45s, and
basically a lot of 23-11 picks.
I'll give him Bubba. I'm saying more Bubba than anything.
Yeah.
We'll give him Bubba.
On one lift.
Yeah, so now for the main event. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win at Pocono, Eric?
I'm going to roll with Daniel Suarez. This is where he came so close to getting his first career win back in 17, 18? It was one of those years with Joe Gibbs Racing.
18.
We talked about how this track seems to favor just cars that have had a lot of speed. That's Trackhouse. This may be a little bit of a shot in the dark, but I'm feeling good about it. We'll go Daniel Suarez.
Well, I'm going to go with his very aggressive teammate, Ross Chastain, once again. I mean, he had a little bit of speed last weekend, but it wasn't race-winning speed, unfortunately. But, hey, I mean, we're going to a place like Pocono where we're all about speed at this particular racetrack. So, hey, Ross Chastain, we'll see if he can get it done.
This guy was good even without good equipment at Pocono. He's been good ever since his equipment got better, getting the best equipment. Y'all are gonna laugh after what people were saying about me in the chat earlier for this one, because I certainly don't hate him because he's been my pick all week. Kyle Larson. I find it funny as hell. The chat was like saying, "Oh, Jared hates Kyle Larson. He just says he's gonna be bad every week," and it's like, dude, he's been my pick for the last week for this track.
Compared to last year, it's certainly been down in terms of performance, but we're in a different car and stuff, and he's not running terrible. But yeah, it's just not as good as he was last year. That's a fact.
It's hard to do. Jimmy Johnson was only that good once in his
career.
He
won 10 races. Yeah, I was not expecting him to match that, man. No way.
Yeah.
I'm taking the hot hand on this one, Chase Elliott. He's been super consistent these last few weeks, and again, we talk about this usually being a track where your best guy all season can pull it off, and yeah, I'm gonna say Chase Elliott wins it here.
See, Larson and Elliott were the two I was torn between, but I hate Hendrick Motorsports apparently.
Chat this is an important one.
I'm seeing a lot of 12.
Whoa,
a lot from Ross Crash Stain.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of 9 too. There's a lot more 9 I'm seeing than the 12.
So
yeah,
maybe a poll between the 9 and the 12 just to be sure.
Yeah,
and the 24s popped up a lot too.
So 9, 12, 24 between those three. And we'll end off the show with that.
I kind of hope it's the 12 or 24 so we can all have different picks. Yeah, but no, I am so excited though for Pocono just because I think it's going to be a really good race.
With that extra fifth gear, that's really intrigued me. It's like, okay, how are they going to be able to run with that extra gear? You know, because Pocono is a track where you have to shift a lot, anyways, right? So, and we'll see how the combo goes.
All right. Well, a very aggressive poll has been put into the chat, so answer me now, and then, in the meantime, let's read off the rest of the super chats.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Let me see. Let me find where I left off at.
I'm gonna just keep an eye on how the poll is doing.
Fairly close. I'm actually surprised by where it's going right now.
Whoa, yeah, I'm surprised too. Wow.
The chat has spoken.
Yes.
What was that?
I'm just trying to fill the air. There's not a lot of conversation. Let's see how long we can be just silent before it gets awkward.
Okay, we don't have to be silent because I found a super chat now.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
PT and Billy coming in at $4.99. Appreciate that. Imagine the reaction if Kyle Busch drove for a new Junior Motorsports entry in the Cup Series. I actually think it's going to be a TRD sponsored 18 car. I think that could be happen. Just have a Toyota sponsored 18 for a year. I think that could happen as well. But it would be ironic to see him drive for Dale Jr., but it's not going to happen either. Melon Smasher 1 comes in at $4.99. I've missed a few weeks live, so I got to remind everyone that Ratatouille is overrated and won't die until Eric admits it.
Well, Darian just died on our Zoom call, so I don't know. He's the one who seems the most offended by it. It just bounces off me at this point. You guys say whatever you want.
I never said it was bad. I just said overrated.
Nova Stone 12 $1.99. Appreciate that. A real championship driver would have won 4 in a row. I don't know what that was in regard to. Shorty P.
Elliott probably.
Or Jimmy
probably.
Johnson or something. I don't know. Because Johnson didn't he do?
Whoa, it's close. We might have to just do one between the 12 and the 9.
Oh, let me refresh this.
Yeah, let's get that 24 out of here.
Whoa. Yeah, that is a close one. Wow. Yeah. Give y'all another poll between just the 24 and the 9, y'all. Yeah, that's a close one. Whew. And now Eric's left.
Yeah, we all. Well, I mean, I got. Let's do that then. All right.
See, my internet just momentarily just like went out, spazzed out for a moment. That's why I had to leave. But
all right.
So the second poll's up.
New poll.
Yeah.
Okay, where were we? Okay. Yeah, Shorty PJM.
I thought it was it's between the 12 and the 9.
Oh. Yeah, 12 and the 9.
Oh,
Not 12.
My bad.
The 24.
My bad.
Yep, wrong poll. Hey, well, we get that taken care of. We appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. We've had well over 500 watching consistently. How many likes we got?
We got 227 from mine, but I don't know if it refreshed enough. But yeah, we peaked at almost 550 tonight, so that was really fun.
Okay.
So thank y'all.
Okay, real poll official is now up.
There we go. All right.
Shorty PJM, appreciate the $2.22. Bubba P3, so proud but scared for Ryan. Blaney is who he's referring to. Yeah, gonna be close. Isaac coming in at $1.99, appreciate that. Ratatouille is underappreciated. Evan Morrison coming in with a very, very generous $69.99 Canadian dollars. That's about $50
Nice.
US dollar. Appreciate that very generous donation there, Evan. Toronto would have been the perfect street course race. And it's an established street course. They host IndyCar and the Pinty Series. It's international, which checks that box. Why not go somewhere it's a proven success and would have had a huge turnout? That's interesting. They have talked about going overseas, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule it out for the future. But
I wouldn't mind that.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, wouldn't
In
mind
the
that at
future,
all.
give it a shot.
Yeah. Nova Stone 12 coming in at $1.99. Appreciate that. Blaney should force his way to HMS to replace Bowman. Huh. Be interesting.
I don't. That's not realistic though.
But
I don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Deep down, I'm kind of thinking Bowman won't get forever, just because they've always been doing just little by little, depending on what the sponsor says. So
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Napa Racing Fat 927 comes in at $2. Appreciate that. The iceberg is now the Michael McDowell iceberg.
Okay.
The Super Squad just donated $1. Didn't say anything, but good to see a Super Squad. Thank you for that. And then, again, very, very generous, $100 donation coming in from Chris Contino. Man, that is very much appreciated. Thank you so much for your support to the show. Wanted to thank you guys for all the content. I am a new NASCAR fan. Always thought it would be boring. Man, was I wrong. Being from New Jersey, not many race fans, so glad I have a place to hear discussions. Pocono will be my first live race. Go Briscoe. Hope to meet Eric there. That's right, Eric will be there, and you should hopefully be able to run into him there at some point.
Yep.
That's cool.
Planning on announcing an official meetup time, maybe Saturday and Sunday. So, no, that's a super cool comment. That's great to hear.
Don't thank us for the content. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Without people who watch us, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you very much, Chris. Bruce Morgan comes in at $4.99. Appreciate that, Bruce. IndyCar and F1 pick cities with cachet for road courses. NASCAR picks Chicago, an increasingly violent city, clearly in decline. A boomer decision? Question mark.
That's what I'm saying.
You can make the case, yeah.
They got last pick in the draft. That's kind of how it feels. It's not a bad city. It's a cool city to visit. It's just not.
But compared to other cities, though?
It's not as trendy or quickly growing the way those other two or three are.
Yeah. JS Ski comes in at $4.99. Appreciate that. You have to give one of these guys a second chance on the top right. You choosing Scott Speed, Scott Riggs, or Scott Wimmer?
Oh, y'all, Scott. I saw.
Great, Scott.
All right.
Just
Wimmer.
Scott Speed. Scott
Riggs.
Speed.
Riggs. Scott Riggs in a fairly good car back in 2006. Damn near won the Coke 600 and the Fall Charlotte race. I think he could do all right.
He almost won the 2003 Busch Championship too.
I'm gonna go just because if my buddy Isaac ever watches this, I don't want to be mad at me. I'm gonna go with Scott Wimmer.
Hey, I'll go with Scott Speed. Give Scott Speed another chance. Just the name Speed as the last name. It's so good from a marketing standpoint. And he was a pretty decent driver in his day in F1, and he had some moments in NASCAR. But I would like to see him.
Two of the first diecasts I ever owned was a Wimmer Cat car and a Riggs Valvoline car. They're like the two of the first ones I ever owned. I don't know where they are now, but
no Scott Speed diecast.
I know. No, can't say I had one.
Ross, that's hard to say that. Ross Crashtain comes in at $5.48. Appreciate that. Okay. Welcome to the Alaska 47 in Chirac. We'll say it like that. Presented by Colombian farmers. First to complete 47 laps, or whoever survives it longest wins. Yep. That's a good joke.
Yep.
Milton Valenzuela Jr., appreciate the $5 donation. The Chicago Street Circuit looks like the Sochi F1 track. Google it and share if you like, please.
Oh, gosh, the track's awful. It's universally hated. Actually.
Napa Racing Fan 927 comes in again with another $2. Appreciate that. Can Iowa Speedway make a return to NASCAR with a cup date? I don't know at this point.
I don't know, but IndyCar is going there, so you can at least watch some IndyCar racing there.
That is true.
Yeah.
Scott McNew with the $5. Appreciate that. Coming from Michigan, I will say this. If Detroit is able to have a street race safely for IndyCar, then I'm pretty sure any city can. That's very true.
Yeah, and dude, they've been going there for years and years. They're about to go downtown now, I think, too.
Honestly, I think at this point, the stuff about Chicago being dangerous is kind of more like a meme really than anything. So, Sly Supersonic, appreciate the 1226. Hello, my Fantastic Four. As a JGR/Toyota fan, I am not happy with NASCAR's decision day on Cindric's tire issue on pit road. How can a rule be different for my team versus every other team? Not good.
Well, I'll explain this. I'll explain why. See, Toyota puts in a lot of money into the sport. They've been doing that for years. So,
don't peddle conspiracy theories.
Oh, well, come on. Well, how do you explain it, though?
Well, I think it's a bad call. I know. I agree with our super chat here that they should have been consistent. I think Bell should have gotten a penalty, but you could argue Bell stopped immediately. The tire only rolled through about 2 pit stalls, whereas Cindric's, he was going down pit road. It rolled through a bunch more. That rolled through people who were actively doing a pit stop. That's the argument, but I think it's a weak argument. I think if you're going to enforce the penalty as strictly as they have for some people, you got to do it for everyone. If it falls off and rolls away from the car or outside of your box, that should be a penalty. And then in the off season, we should change the penalty. It shouldn't be a 4-way race suspension. They need to loosen up on that next year.
Well, to kind of counter on that, Sly Supersonic gave another $10. They said, I love JGR to death, but that doesn't mean I want NASCAR holding them to a different standard than everybody else. Cindric's issues were no different than Bell's. This was not right, and everyone knows.
They were subtly different, but in a nutshell, no. Both were safety concerns.
NASCAR,
I think it was a wrong call.
No, but in all seriousness, NASCAR, they're consistent with being inconsistent. Nothing
It's
to do
another
with
reason-
any. It's just that's what the way they are.
It's another reason I kind of get squeamish when we talk about, NASCAR needs to officiate more calls. It's like, I don't know. We get a lot of this. Where you're like scratching your head. Like, where was the decision there? Where's the consistency?
One of the biggest things I was still mad about earlier this year was the Kyle Busch situation of how that was kind of like missed. That was my biggest complaint about that part.
By the way, Danny, I think you might be able to close the poll. I know it's close, but I mean, we have over 200 who have already voted. So I didn't know if you wanted to keep it up longer.
Yeah, it's close, but it is gonna go to the 9. I'm gonna give him Chase Elliott.
Give it to the 9, close it. Hey, 51 to 49.
All right. We're going to make a quick run for this because we still have a lot more super chats to go. Steve Kuharski, appreciate the $4.99. What does Petty GMS do if Eric Jones leaves at the end of this year? Besides Noah possibly to the 42, what becomes a 43? I don't think Eric Jones is going to leave the 43 this year. Honestly, it's more like where would he go, really?
Yeah, I just don't... Back to JGR. You've come crawling back, Jones boy.
More like, so you want me back, or what's the deal? Steve Kuharski again for $1.99. Funny comment. If I want deep dish pizza, I'll eat lasagna.
Lasagna is good too. I don't know.
Hero Hope 5, appreciate the $5. Y'all hating on cities, yet everyone rather live there and in metro areas than in backwards rural areas of no future because kids are leaving to cities.
Hey, I'm from Las Vegas, bro. Now I kind of live in the...
Actually, statistics show that people are leaving cities faster than any other place in the country.
It's the suburbs. Everything's going to look like a suburb in 20 years.
So yeah, the... Two of these other guys, they moved here where I'm at. So I'm originally from a town that had a population of 4,300 people, so not that many people. I moved out to a town that's a whole lot bigger, but it's close to a metro area, but it's a smaller metro area. I can't deal with huge cities. I'm just not like that. I'm a country guy through and through. This is about as big as I can get.
See, I get the best of both worlds. Downtown Nashville is only 20 minutes away, and then I can just come out here, and then boom, there's like no noise at all.
I mean, yeah, it's just chill. I go out on the lake, very chill. So
I mean, I live 30 minutes away from Houston, but I don't live in Houston. But it's the right balance. This is where people are going.
Brian Green coming in at $9.99. Appreciate that. I live in the Springfield, Illinois area. Lincoln lived here for most of his life. I think as a biased person that the state fairgrounds should be a backup track, but it would definitely suck. Andrew Meyer comes in with $5. Appreciate that. Fun question. Who's your favorite driver you've never seen race? For me, it's DW. I love his racing style, and he's a great person overall as well.
It would have to be Dale Sr. for me. Yeah, because, I mean, all I hear is about all these stories about, this is what he used to do and stuff from my parents growing up and stuff. So
I'll do a different one. I'll do a different one. Curtis Turner.
I like that answer. That'd be an interesting one. I don't know if he's my favorite, but he's one I'd be like super intrigued to go back and see like in real time. I don't have a good answer to that. That's a tough question.
I've got kind of a more unique one. It's kind of a toss-up between Ricky Rudd and Ernie Irvan. I never saw either of those two guys race, but I think it would have been nice to see them race back in the day.
I'll say Alan Kulwicki. I would have loved to see his rise, and that 1992 season would have been really cool to follow that kind of small independent team success story.
Yep. Hold on, I just had to refresh it a little bit. Steve Kuharski comes in with $1.99. Again, appreciate that, Steve. You've been very generous tonight. What if Kyle buys Rick Ware Racing and goes cup racing with KBM? Rick would charge him a ton of money for that, Steve.
I don't think he's going to do that.
That's not going to happen.
Why would you not just take the 20% or 30% pay cut at JGR?
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Why
Just
would you
take the
not
pay
just
cut, bro.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Two Penny Puppet comes in $1.99. Napa extended Chase Elliott's contract today. Yep, we talked about that. But appreciate the $1.99. Zachary, Dell Jr. fan, comes in with $2. Should HMS find Alex Bowman a new crew chief? If it keeps going the way it's been going, possibly. I mean, it hasn't been too good for him here lately.
Greg Eyes has been kind of meh to me.
They've got an okay relationship, but I mean, Dell Jr. went with what was his name, Lance McGrew for a lot of years, and I feel like they might have been okay, but they didn't do that good together. So
no.
Wayne Montgomery comes in with $1.99. Appreciate that. Ready for SummerSlam next weekend. Wayne, I will see you there. I'll also be at SummerSlam in Nashville.
That's cool.
TA Gaming with $1.99. As a Texas guy, I am pulling for the 17. Looks like that come through 2 times, but either way, TA Gaming, appreciate $1.99. And 17 would be a good person to root for.
Mm-hmm.
Melon Smasher 1 comes in with $1.99. Can we get the Milwaukee Mile back? It'd be nice.
Yes,
I doubt.
Please.
It'd be nice, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, the only racetrack to host a official NFL championship game. Just a fact.
C. Henry 20, appreciate the $4.99. Does the 48 needed crew chief change? Well, we just talked about that, but possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
Napa Racing Fan 927, appreciate the $2. Will another new track be added for the 2023 schedule? I don't really know of anything that would be.
I'd heard rumors of Mexico City, but I don't know with the Chicago announcement, some of the stuff that's been said. I don't know that that's going to happen.
I would love, like, if we're talking about international tracks, either Mexico City or a circuit of Villeneuve. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, possibly a Canadian track. But that'll do it. That's all the super chats we've got for tonight. Appreciate everyone very, very generous on the donations tonight. You can catch us next week, July 27th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, over on Darien Black Flags Matters channel. We'll go over all the events of Pocono and preview the Indianapolis Road Course coming up next week.
And really quick, let me ask you all this. In terms of, is this one of the longest podcasts in series history?
Definitely up there.
Not even close. Longest one was almost 4 hours in season 1.
Oh, okay. Is this in at least the top 5, maybe?
What did we talk about for 4 hours?
Was that just you and Danny, Jarrett? Who was?
No, it was pre-Darien. It was the 3 of us. And I remember afterwards we get off, and Eric just goes, "Guys, I love doing this with y'all, but we got to make this shit a little bit shorter."
I'm literally sitting here thinking, like, damn, there's no way I would have sat through 3.5 hours.
This was just one of those shows where we had a lot to talk about, but then also y'all were very generous on the super chat, so we had a lot to talk about that too.
And most importantly, you guys stayed throughout all of it. You still have well over 400 people watching.
I've been watching. We've had 400 people decide that for some reason these 4 guys are worth listening 2.5 hours to. So appreciate that.
And a moment for slap as well. So
we got your bonus slap shoes in there. I didn't even know that was coming.
Appreciate it. But catch the NASCAR Weekly Podcast on my channel next week, July 27th, exactly 1 day after my 25th birthday. So we can
celebrate
what I did. Yeah, so we can kind of recap that stuff as well as the Pocono weekend.
I got the actual Dale call video if you guys want me to end off there.
I think we all can agree on that. Go for it.
See you guys.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, there's nothing there, Jarrett.
I didn't hear. Here, I'll do my own thing.
Green. Holy moly. Great job! Yeah! This guy. Thank you! Hell yeah. Great job, man.
And we got a crash. Car spinning left and right.
Buddy, let her rip. Rain like hell, baby. Come on. Oh my God, guys. Yes. Yes. Unbelievable. You guys are the best.